bitch. Oh, excuse you? Baloney wash. I'm annoyed. I'm just here to give my opinion and carry in. Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Hey y'all, welcome and happy Tuesday. It's your boy Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, a show we basically talk about all things going on in celebrity news, hot topics, pop culture, and we might get a little political. So if that's a show for you, definitely stick around because we have a lot of tea to spill today, including we got some Spider-Man news regarding the fact that they might even get seen in IMAX. So we got to get down to that conversation. Plus, there's an actress. I haven't seen anybody really talking about this, but I marched to be my own drummer, so that's why we do what we do over here. But one of the actresses from the Terrifier movies is suing the production because apparently she said they was filming nude scenes without her consent. There was back end payments they promised her from doing certain things in the film, and she hasn't received full payment. And so it's a whole situation going on over there. Plus, we got some Dance with the Stars drama going on. Apparently, rumors are swirling that two pros threatened to quit after they felt like they've been done dirty and disrespected by producers. And speaking of messy ass producers, Maksim Chmerkovskiy has a bone to pick with production for hiring a Taylor Swift backup dancer to be on the show when he's not even well versed in a lot of the technical dances that they've had to do being on that show, because a lot of the dances come from ballroom. They're very technical, and apparently I guess he's not. I don't. Well, we'll get into that show. Plus, or that topic. Plus, we have news on this new show coming from Simon Cowell. He's doing another singing competition. Because remember when he was over in the UK and we're trying to put a boy band situation together? Well, now he's trying again. He's got his judges or whatever, and they're trying to put together the next One Direction. So we'll get into that story, and it's going to be done by ABC this time. So we have that story. Plus, Jay-Z is finally speaking out about all this Bad Bunny drama that because MAGA is still mad that Bad Bunny is going to be headlining the Super Bowl instead of one of they born smelly ass singers like Kid Rock or somebody. So we got that. And plus, Gloria and Emilio Estefan have come out and weighed in on the whole Bad Bunny Super Bowl controversy. Cardi B is lashing out. Speaking at MAGA of MAGA, Cardi B is lashing out at MAGA, and she's basically talking about how adult hunters, professionals, prostitutes, my people, are basically dropping their rates because of Donald Trump's economy. So even they are doing like discounts and things. We getting discounts and currency on the coochie, okay, the coochie and the boochie. So we got that. Halle Berry and DDG, or Halle Bailey, sorry, and DDG have reached a custody agreement. We got to speak about this new tea that I found out today about Brent Corrigan, gay porn icon. I didn't even know he was damn near at death's door. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, Hilary Duff, speaking of gays, Hilary Duff says she got new music coming specifically for the homosexuals. So we have that. And Shea Couleé is finally speaking out about all this drama that's going on with her former drag daughters. Because remember, there was a whole situation that went on around that. Well, she did an interview. She said she did a sit down, sorry, with Monet Exchange on her podcast, and they weighed in on the whole situation. So we're gonna break that down a whole lot more. So before we get to those topics, if you could please do me a solid, hit that like button. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, and also be sure to smash the notification bell so that we know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. And y'all already know I'm gonna put the timestamps and all the stuff in as I do in every show, especially for the replay gang who want to come in and check out all the topics that y'all want to see later on and just go to those instead of having to sit through all the banter that we do during the live chat. But if you like the live chat as much as the live people do, then be my guest. Y'all can come in and go in and let have and hear all the hilarity, let that all ensue. Hold on, because I was just eating. Oh, that's another thing too. The reason why I was late to my cubicle is because I thought I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be done by 5:30. I'm gonna have everything all ready and everything. I'm gonna have all my pictures. I'm gonna have a challenge. I'm gonna have all that done. I went and I hit send to put the timing and everything in. I was like, shit, I forgot to put in my pictures. I forgot to put in my banners. I forgot to do all that. So by the time I was done with that, it was a quarter to 5:30. So it was like 5:15, quarter after. And I was like, oh, I need to go eat something because I already know how I get when I be doing these shows. We go on for a minute. I be having I don't be feeling like, okay, I gotta run into the kitchen and like I gotta take time to make something to eat and all that stuff. Like I'm not gonna be in the mood. I'm gonna be exhausted because you burn a lot of bandwidth when you're doing this type of content, when you're protruding a lot of energy. And then it's like, okay, I'm tired. I just want to lay down, throw some TV shows on. I gotta edit the show. I gotta put in all the timestamps. I gotta do all the other stuff afterwards. So yeah, when I'm done with the live, my day ain't done. I'm still working on, a lot of the stuff. So um, that was like, okay. So I was like, okay, I gotta eat something. Let me go make something. I already know I'm gonna be late. I'd rather ask for permission than forgiveness, or forgiveness than permission. I think it was that way, that version. I'd rather ask for forgiveness than permission. Because so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just have to be late to work. I'm gonna have to be late to my cubicle, and here we are. Or some of us say, here we is. So let me hit my banner. And speaking of banners, let me hit the comment so that way everybody could see that comment in. Um, let's see what the people saying. Cleveland's in the building. Feliz Martes. And so, yeah, we definitely will get into that story. And I'm eating now. Do you you can eat with me? I know I be seeing some people, they don't be caring. They be eating online and everything. And then people get me, why you eating? Bitch, you eating. Shit. What you want me to do? Just sit here be a damn show pony while y'all sitting at home and eating and drinking and being merry? And I gotta sit and starve and let my stomach growl. So I was like, look, I was gonna be late. Wait, why is it? Oh, now they got something new in here. So now they got show comments where they talking about wide medium. No, I don't need all that. We could just leave it as it is. But anyway, let me get to my banners and let's get to our. Whoa, hold on. Almost forgetting how to do the damn show. Cleveland says so. Oh, you said so you can eat with me. And back to back shows. Mm-mm-mm-mm. All right, y'all. So now let's get into our first topic without further ado. Let's talk some Spider-Man news. So apparently there's word on the street that Spider-Man, you in danger, girl, because apparently the word on the curb is they're not going to be able to secure any IMAX screenings because of Tom Holland. And it's funny because Tom Holland is in two movies that are going to be fighting for time in that month. He's going to be in the Christopher Nolan movie, The Odyssey. And apparently, Christopher Nolan has locked down a whole month that he wants to show that movie in IMAX specifically because he shot that film fully on IMAX cameras. They even created new IMAX cameras to combat to go with the different type of shoots and stuff they want to do. So they shot that movie with full IMAX cameras, and apparently this movie is not going to that which is basically is going to hurt Spider-Man. So there are several highly anticipated studio tentpoles that are going to be coming out next year that are going to be vying for our coins and them ticket sales. So like I said, the Odyssey is supposed to be coming out. Spider-Man Brand New Day is supposed to come out in a couple of weeks. Then I believe there's another movie that's supposed to be coming out as well, where they basically said that IMAX shared a look ahead to the movies that will play on its giant sized screens, excuse me, in 2026 and 2027, as well as confirming that Supergirl and Avengers Doomsday are getting IMAX releases next year. It's revealed that Man of Tomorrow, or Superman Man of Tomorrow, as it's referred to some. The Batman 2, The Avengers Secret Wars, will similarly get the IMAX treatment in 2027. Spider-Man Brand New Day, however, might be left out in the cold. Now, set for release in July 31st, 2026, the movie is sandwiched between two IMAX releases, one being, as I mentioned, The Odyssey, which comes out on July 17th, and then a movie called Flowervale Street, which is going to be coming out on August 14th. To be honest, I don't know what Flowervale Street is. I never heard of it. I don't know what it's about. I don't know if it's animated. I don't know if it's live action. I don't know if it's, I don't know what the tone of that movie is, but apparently they secured IMAX screenings for it, so it must be major, and that's on with Warner Brothers. Now, Nolan's next movie is getting extended run at IMAX. Isn't surprising, but a month exclusivity, it's happened before. Now, they said they'd be shocked if Sony Pictures and Marvel Studios aren't negotiating with IMAX to get at least some screens freed up. But to think about that, it may not do that. So it may not do that premium theater. And what people need to also realize, because I understand, like when y'all try to go into the premium theater thing, you're guaranteed to make more money in there because IMAX, Dolby, all the other ones, what is it? RBX, RPX, all that stuff is way more expensive than your average theater going experience. Like if you go and watch it in a regular theater, and I'm sure they're gonna have 3D. But my thing is, okay, so you can't get into IMAX, then why don't you secure Dolby only screenings? Dolby, y'all, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, Dolby screenings and IMAX screenings are pretty much the same ticket price. Like they charge you between 27 to 30 bucks or whatever the case is. I think is how much that price is. So if you can't get an IMAX, there's other places that you can go. And 9 times out of 10, when I can't get into an IMAX screening, I usually hope and pray that same movie is in Dolby and I'll go and see it there. I haven't seen an IMAX movie in a minute. Because a lot of times when I be wanting to go and see a movie in IMAX, it doesn't fit within my schedule, and then on top of that, the theaters is always packed. They always take the seats that I want because I'm very picky and very particular about where I wanted my seats and stuff. Like I need a center seat. I need to be within the eye line of the screen. And a lot of times people want to take the center seats. And also, I'm very much like I don't want too many people like around me. Like if I have no choice that um if I don't have a choice that it needs to be, that a theater is sold out or whatever the case is, I'll deal with it. Like if it's sold out and I'm like, okay, I need a seat and I'm gonna go and sit and watch or whatever, then it's like it's inevitable. But if it's in a theater that's big in that capacity that it doesn't that a lot of people not in there, and you're not gonna get on my damn nerves, making noise or having conversations with your friends, being on your damn cell phone or whatever the case is. Yeah, I'm very particular about my situation. I be wanting the best thing possible. And a lot of times when I've been going to Dolby, it has not really been that packed in there, which is why I've been choosing it versus IMAX. But I did recently get a ticket. I think it was yesterday actually. I got a ticket to go see The Running Man. So I already got my tickets for that, and I got that in IMAX because they had it was like good seats. A lot of the seats was available. The opening night one on Thursday wasn't. That was packed. The early morning one that Friday, there was like a lot of really good seats in the middle. So I was like, okay, let me get my seat. But of course, I had to like make sure that I'm not in a row where there's too many people. Yeah, I'm very OCD with the situation. So I think that they could find ways to work around this. If they can't get those IMAX screenings, and I don't think that Spider-Man Brand New Day is gonna move because look, summer is a big competitive time for a lot of movies. And to be honest, in 2025, I don't really think that we had a lot of competition with movies. Like I don't feel like a lot of really good action or summer movies came out this year. There was a couple that was like, okay, but overall, I was kind of disappointed. Like Superman, okay, that was big, but it wasn't something that really moved the needle in regards to, like, oh my God, I need to go see this movie more than once. Although I did see it once. And then when I met up with my parents, whatever, I was like, okay, I'm gonna buy tickets for me and them because my father had never been in an IMAX theater before. So I went and I got tickets for my parents and myself to go have the IMAX experience. We hung out for the day and all that other stuff. So um, them tickets was expensive, child. But y'all already know IMAX is expensive. But he loved it. He had a great experience. My mother complained because it was loud. I'm like, ma'am, we're in IMAX. Of course it's loud. Like my mother's the type that will literally put the TV on the volume on 10, and you wouldn't even know the TV on, but she hears it. And I'm sitting there like, okay, bionic ears. Like I cannot enjoy a TV that's that damn low and the surround sound is not booming. And my parents have surround sound in their living room, but she be wanting the TV at the lowest volume. Like you can hear a pin drop. So, but my father and I, we're very similar, and we like the big cinematic experience. We want the big screens. We like the big surround sound. We like that big boom going. Like we like all of that and the razzle dazzle, which is why I always like when I go to the movies, I tend to enjoy like the screens and all that other mess. So do 40X at Dolby. I mean, not Dolby. At what is that? Regal. Get a deal with them. Like I said, Dolby, secure that. I mean, I don't like 3D because y'all haven't figured out how to make real like watching 3D movies enjoyable. So I don't like the whole inconvenience and me working being a former worker of AMC. That gimmick is just stupid anyway. So I'm not big on the whole 3D glasses experience. But I feel like okay, so let them have IMAX. Let Christopher Nolan have a little IMAX moment and we'll just secure Dolby and we'll secure all the other premium, theaters and things. So I think that's the direction they should go in because IMAX is not the only, you know, thing that's valid in town. So yeah, they said that Jurassic World Rebirth, there was no room for them in IMAX, and it still made $888 million, become one of the year's highest grossing titles. And also, we didn't think about this. I don't know why people act like. I mean, yeah, IMAX and I feel like the studios and everything they convince you like that's the best thing in town, and I'm just sitting there like I don't think a lot of people care. Like if I think of the average moviegoer is not like a lot of those of us who enjoy like all the bells and whistles of movies, the movie going experience. There's some average people that they don't give a good goddamn what it's showing in. As long as they can go into a theater and check out Spider Man, trust and believe people will go to the movies and see it, and then when it ends up out on digital, whatever the case is, then people be like, you know what? I can buy the DVD or get the digital download or whatever, and I can have I can really enjoy the spoils in the privacy of my own home. So I don't know. I just feel like they're making a big deal out of nothing. And Spider-Man, regardless of the fact, because it's Tom Holland and it already has it's a pre-existing IP that people are already aware of, it's not gonna be a big deal. So with all this being said, Spider-Man is gonna be all right. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? What do you think they should do in regards to the fact of Spider-Man Brand New Day is not getting the IMAX experience? Like I said, even if it doesn't get IMAX experience, if you're so hell bent on that whole premium experience, there are other um companies. AMC has other theaters that give you may not get the IMAX experience, but it gives you those other experiences. And then of course, like I said, people don't get care about all the bells and whistles as long as they know, oh well, look, a new Spider-Man movie's out. What theater, as long as they can get a ticket and go see the movie, I don't think they care about all the IMAX and the Dolby and the surround sound and the vibrating chairs and things coming off on the walls. I don't think they care about all that, or room rotating while you're watching a movie. So they don't care about all of that. Some people just want watch movies and just watch it to watch it. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. I was like, oh, I had to close that. I was like, what is that? What was that? Unless they move the release, they're not gonna move the release date. First of all, I was thinking it's the summertime. Why even risk it? July is like a prominent month for big blockbusters. I'd rather just keep the release date there and just not deal with the whole IMAX experience than have to move it to what? Because it's like kind of in the middle of July. You don't want to move it to August because August is kind of seen like a dead month. So I don't know if people want to move it that late or if they would move it up. I don't know. There's a lot of movies coming out in 2026, so it's probably gonna be hard for them to move that. And plus, they want to. I'm From what I'm hearing is that there are events that is in Spider-Man Brand New Day that sets up Avengers Doomsday because I don't know if I think Tom Holland might be in Avengers Doomsday, but they're trying to set all that stuff up. So I'd rather just leave the thing there and deal with the fact that okay, I mean the movie will still make money. We just don't get the IMAX experience. I just feel like they feel like oh well they could make they can make more money because in IMAX and the IMAX tickets are expensive. Have you decided whether you'll be watching the finale of Um, I'm still on the fence about whether I'll watch it in a theater or just in the comfort of my own home. I don't know. I would like to go experience it. Speaking of which, I was reading an article Variety did on what they were talking about why Netflix finally decided to change their tune on releasing their films in theaters. And I feel like what they were saying was they still go by whatever, to sum it up, whatever they still go by the model, the way they do things, but they use the theatrical experience for like an event similar to like Stranger Things, or there's well, what is it, a spinoff or something or another based on Brad Pitt's character in Once Upon a Time in what was it? Once Upon a Time in America. What the hell the name of that movie was? Netflix is making a movie based, with that. Brad Pitt's gonna reprise the part that he played in that film in what's his name? Quentin Tarantino's last film. Netflix is doing it. They're doing a whole theatrical release for it. Also with Frankenstein coming out, that's got people buzzing. They've been normally using it for the Oscars to build Oscar buzz, but now they're doing it to do these event things with K-pop Demon Hunters and all this other stuff. I'm like, y'all should have been doing that. Like, y'all don't really market y'all stuff, but this is a great way to get people interested in wanting to check out your stuff. As far as like going to see Stranger Things in a theater, I'm with you. I'm still on the fence about it. I haven't fully decided. I have to see how my schedule is because if it's a night situation and December is a extremely busy time for me at MSG. I might not be able to go. So I don't want to risk getting the tickets or whatever. I don't think the tickets are available. I'm still trying to get tickets to go see the whole bloody affair. They haven't even released those tickets yet. So I saw a poll answered by 10K people, and most people said they won't be watching it. I mean, that's 10,000 people versus how many millions? But I think maybe because the attitude is, well, I can see it at home. I don't have to go to the movies and deal with, everything with the film and I have to pay for it. I could just watch it for free if I don't know, you're on somebody else's Netflix or whatever. They're like, you know what, I'll just wait until it comes out. And I think that would be the most people. And I think that's probably a blessing and a curse for Netflix is that they people are so if people are in the mindset of like, oh, it's going to come out on streaming, so why do I have to? It's the same thing with Mandalorian and Grogu. Like, I think that movie's in trouble because first of all, people were able to get all the seasons on Disney Plus. Why would you decide to release a TV show that we've been watching in the confines of our own home in a theater? And I've heard nobody buzzing about this film. And I've seen the trailer. I was like, it's all right, but am I overly excited to want to go see Mandalorian and Grogu in a theater? No. And to me, and I heard they spent a whole lot of money on the show as well as this movie. And I'm like, it looks like when you look at the aesthetically, it looks literally like I'm watching the TV show just in cinematic form because the TV show kind of gives you that cinematic vibe. So I think Disney, you're in danger regarding this Mandalorian Grogu movie. Wouldn't be the first time. Look, I learned that from my grandmother back when she used to, because my grandmother was a big movie goer, and whenever she would take us to the movie, she always had like chips and all kinds of other stuff. They wasn't buying them concessions. Be watching Stranger Things 5 at home with my daughter on a big screen, spend 20 on snacks. That's usually how everybody feels now, and I feel like theaters going to have to catch up. I mean, I like that whole camaraderie of being in a room with people and that whole situation, but it depends on what it is. And I'm just not gonna go for any old film. And yeah, maybe Stranger Things would be a good idea in theaters because it's the vibe of being in that room with all the fans and stuff. But speaking of which, Stranger Things, they just emailed me and sent me an invite for the LA premiere. I would have to do it virtually because I can't be there physically. But yeah, they sent me that, I think yesterday. They said I'll probably watch Wicked Part 1 and Part 2 next month as a double feature. First of all, speaking of Wicked is getting good reviews because the reviews are out already on it, and I definitely want to check it out. I'm kind of on the fence of whether or not I want to go to the movies and see that because I didn't even see I saw the first one when it came on Peacock. I want to see your Peacock. Let me stop. Every time I say that, I'll be thinking of Katy Perry. But it's like, yeah, I saw the first one when it came out on Peacock. I didn't go to the movies, but now I'm constantly like, do I see this in the theater? I kind of do want to see it. The Acolyte was better. It's really because I heard people hated that show, and then they were started. I've been hearing stories about what they were planning on doing with Manny Jacinto's character and all that. Like, there's been a lot of Acolyte stories and all kinds of other Star Wars stories that have been coming out from a lot of the trades lately. They were planning on doing a Kylo Ren movie, and then they decided not to go on. There was a whole bunch of stuff that was coming out, but y'all decided on Ray, really? And I like Daisy Ridley, but I hated what y'all did with her. Part 2 comes out next month. I don't remember when, but I know it comes out in November. Might be around Thanksgiving or maybe before. There's a lot of movies coming out next month. Like, I'm looking forward to Predator Badlands. Got my ticket for that. I'm looking forward to what was the other one I said with Glenn Powell? Running Man. Got my ticket for that. Still on the fence on whether or not I want to see Wicked, but if I do, I'll probably go to an early screening. But anyway, let's move on. Let's get into some horror movie news. Let's talk about Terrifier. So one of the actresses who was in Terrifier, the first one, um, you know, is basically talking about that she is filing a lawsuit and is suing the producers and the director, Damian Leone, alleging breach of contract and the distribution of sexually explicit materials without consent. So she went in, and I don't know if y'all remember who she is, but that's why I got pictures. This is the girl from the first movie that is following the lawsuit. So the actress Catherine Corcoran, they said in a suit, basically, okay, so in a suit filed in California federal court on Sunday, Catherine Corcoran's attorneys presented a case defined by the all too common story of low budget film producers taking advantage of a young actress through fraud, sexual harassment, and ultimately betrayal. The lawsuit names production banners Dark Age Cinema and Fuzz on the Lens Productions as defendants, in addition to producer Phil Falcone and Leone. And the filmmaker's banner Art the Clown. The filing includes several claims for relief, including distribution of sexually explicit materials, breach of contract, and promissory fraud. Leone and producers were not immediately reached for comment. Well, they tried to reach them, they didn't get back, basically. So, shout out to Variety for this story, by the way. Cochran is best known to terrify viewers as the centerpiece of one of the original 2016 slashers' most memorably demented sequences, in which the actress's character is hung upside down, topless, and slaughtered by Art the Clown. The suit alleges that filming for the sequence required Cochran to be hung upside down by her ankles for over 10 hours in below freezing temperatures. And watching that scene, especially where it was happening, you could definitely tell it was freezing in that room. And I always think about that because when I've been on sets, and you having them and you're doing like a low budget film, whatever the case is, oh yeah, it's definitely freezing and stuff up in there. So being hung for them long periods of time and plus it's cold, like you also know like being sick, that's going to be something that comes eventually with that. Now, Cochran is said to have agreed to act in the low budget Terrifier on an extremely low upfront per diem rate, with the agreement that she would receive 1% of the profits from the film, as well as a potential future franchise entries and related merch, including other licenses of the IP. Two Terrifier sequels have been produced, collectively grossing more than 105 million at the global box office, plus home video profits and Terrifier-themed fan events and other modes. The suit claims that director and producer Leone agreed to, in writing, to provide Cochran with a share of 1% in all net sales generated from Terrifier-related merch. Now, if this is in writing, well, when she get to court, she's gonna have to make sure that all of that stuff is subpoenaed. However, Corcoran alleges that in the years following the original film's release and its subsequent rise in popularity, her royalty payments became more and more sporadic and dwindled to amounts nowhere near commensurate. The actress claims that she has not received back pay since July 2024 and has only received $1,816.35 up to that point, with no explanation as to why royalty payments ceased or where the remainder of the payments are. Merge royalties are said to only total approximately $6,408.26. Now, Cochran claims to have confronted both Falcone and Leone about her royalty payments and said that she was brushed off, with Leone stating that Falcone, Leone, I'm just changing their names by the second. But anyway, so it's like Leone stating that Falcone handles all the accounting matters, and with an aggressive and defensive response from Falcone saying he purportedly doesn't keep records. How you not keeping records of what's going on there, especially with the accounting? Now, additionally, while Cochran's death scene required her to be nude, the suit claims that the producers never obtained Cochran's informed written consent to film unclothed, as was required by SAG. Basically, the suit alleges that Cochran insisted she be allowed to wear underwear on the day of shooting, and that she still ended up performing the scene topless without written consent. It also claims that Cochran was only provided a horizontal platform to break on between takes upon a request, and that she was wrapped in a blanket in between takes. But over time, the blanket became so saturated with fake blood that it ceased providing any warmth. Now, after filming overnight, Cochran alleges she felt ill in the following days, and that doctors diagnosed her with cranial swelling and eardrum damage. In an allegation that ties together the suit's claims of unpaid royalties and unregulated shooting conditions, the suit claims that the defendants have profited from merch depicting Cochran's nude body. Well, all of this I'm saying is that she's just gonna have to prove this in court regarding like if they profited off of they had merch with her naked, and they've made money off of it because of it. Like, you're using my likeness and profiting off of it. And there was an agreement, a written agreement, as she states, that in throughout all of this, and if she can prove all this, then I believe that she's going to get some money out of this. And I do feel like in this way, look, I wasn't there. I don't know what the truth is. It lies somewhere in the middle. When of course it's her side, and we have yet to hear from Damien and Mr. Falcone and all the other people that she's suing in the production department. But I understand it's like when you doing these low budget films, y'all creating stuff based off of winning a prayer. And you don't realize that this thing is going to become what it is, because I remember Damien said in the interview that after the success of the Terrifier movies, he was finally able to buy himself a house. So his dreams have come true. He's become this big major star within the horror movie genre, and people love Art the Clown. Shout out to David Howard Thornton. I'm, we be following each other, and all that good stuff on social media. But so shout out to David Howard Thornton, who plays Art the Clown, by the way. So with all that being said, we love Art the Clown. I love the Terrifier franchise. I really hope they work this out. If there was some shady shenanigans done behind the scenes and you agreed to pay this girl what she said that she's supposed to be owed, then y'all need to just pay her what she need to pay so that way she can move on with her life and go on and continue, I guess, doing other movies or whatever. Because I don't know if she's done anything outside of the Terrifier films. I can't remember all the time. It's been a minute since I've seen the first one, or even revisited any of the Terrifier. It's like when I watch Terrifier movies, it's usually a one and done, because I'm like, it takes a certain mindset for me to put myself in to even sit through those movies, but especially with the gruesome kills that they put up in there. And we already know, like, it's funny how all this is coming out, especially because Damien, I don't know when, but he's supposed to start gearing up to start shooting Terrifier 4. He did an interview recently where he was speaking out about it, where we're going to dive deeper into Art the Clown's backstory. And I don't know how much, but I know a lot of people are a little worried that it's like, we like the mystery of Art the Clown, but we don't want you giving too much backstory. Don't go Rob Zombie's Halloween on Art the Clown when it comes to the whole backstory, because we don't want to resent you for creating such an iconic character and then we dive so much into his past that the mystery is killed. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he's going to do with this fourth installment. And I know he's ready to move on and do other things. But I just hope that with this whole Terrifier situation, and yes, it is one of the most successful things that he's done in his career. It's probably the only thing, as far as I'm mistaken. Kind of like Chad Stahelski, the only thing he's done so far is John Wick movies. He hasn't really dived into anything else, except he's about to start shooting when Henry Cavill gets better. He's going to start doing Highlander. So we'll finally get to see him do something outside of that. And I'm looking forward to seeing Damien do something outside of the Terrifier films, because I love the franchise and I'm a big gore hound and all of that. So hopefully they get it all together. I'll definitely be keeping this story. I'm keeping my eye on this story as it develops, but I definitely want to hear from you. What do you guys think of this story regarding this latest tease surrounding the Terrifier movie franchise? One of the actresses saying that there was some agreements that was supposed to be honored and they weren't honored, and now she's suing for the honoration of the situation. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. Let me know what your overall thoughts on this story is in the comments down below. Would you travel to go to the LA premiere for? And this account on jail with the dude from the real world running the transit. Mm-mm. I ain't getting on no plane until this administration is gone. It said, "Did you listen to Rosalia's?" I did yesterday. I posted on my social medias this morning. I meant to do it yesterday, but I forgot. But yeah, I watched the video yesterday, and I was a little worried because I was like, okay, she got the orchestra and everything up in there. I'm like, please make the orchestra and everything work. It's giving very Bjork vibes, which makes perfect sense why she would put Bjork on that song. Because I'm thinking she may have been inspired by like the homogenic era. Speaking of which, I saw this father and son try to break down the whole homogenic album. They was listening to it. I was like, I had to turn them off, because y'all not gonna sit up here and talk about Bjork was on some drugs when she made that damn album. Just because y'all can't give people quirkiness and weirdness, that ain't our issue. It just that music ain't for you. But I was living for Bjork. I still do. But I was surprised because I didn't really look at the title. I was like, "Oh, Rosalia got a new song," so I just put it on. Then all of a sudden, I'm hearing Bjork voice. I'm like, Icelandic. iconic queen, the queen of Iceland. I was like, yes, it was. Not get her Jade. Like I said, it's been 9 years since the first Terrifier. I hope she can prove it in court. Yeah, that has been a long time. I'm like 9 years. Damn, time flies. What do gays do once they start feeling old? That's a good question. Take steroids, HGH, testosterone. I don't know. I don't feel old yet, but it's like after I be exercising and stuff, I definitely be feeling that pain in my lower back. I'm like, oh Lord. So is this what it's like being in your 40s? Like you start feeling okay. Wow, you feeling old, sir? All right, y'all. So now let's lighten up the mood a little bit with some more drama, because that's what this show basically gives, right? Wait, hold on. What you saying? Not your TRT appointment. Okay, let's get into some Dancing with the Stars news. So apparently there is some rumors swirling that multiple pro dancers are threatening to quit the show because they've been feeling quite disrespected by producers on the show. So a rivalry between newer dance pros and the show's veterans has apparently been brewing on set as social politics and favoritism has been growing factors behind the scenes. Now, in season 34 of Dancing with the Stars, four fan favorite returning pros were the first to get the boot. Longtime show stars Jenna Johnson, Britt Stewart, Brandon Armstrong, and Gleb Sebchenko were the first four pro dancers cut from the season after their partners were eliminated. They were also paired with older contestants, as Jenna danced this season with Corey Feldman, who's 54. Britt was with retired NBA player Baron Davis, sorry, who's 46. And Gleb was paired with Shell. Really? Alec Baldwin's wife, the one that don't know what accent she want to pick to go with today, Hilaria, or as we like to call her, Miss Hilary. So she's 41. Now, Brandon suffered a shocking elimination with Fifth Harmony member Lauren J. I don't know how to say her name, so I'm not even going to try, during the third results show. Meanwhile, newer dance pros who have been hired more recently, such as Riley Arnold and Ezra Sosa, have been paired with younger stars and still remain in the competition. There's all they said there was don't even forget that we about the one that was the Taylor Swift dancer, Jan Ravnik. Oh, we got to get into that story after this. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna combine both because with all of that, the Dance with the Stars, them two stories they could be matched together. But yeah, there's also behind the scenes drama regarding him because Maksim Chmerkovskiy has some things to say about that. We'll get into that in a second. Excuse me. So they said there is tension brewing between the professional dancers. The vets are feeling overshadowed by the show's newer, younger talent, and there have been passive aggressive remarks on set. Some of the older pros are really getting fed up with the producers' strategic partner preferences. Specifically, Jenna feels she was done dirty this season. Britt and Brandon feel the same way, a production insider is claiming. And those three, being so experienced and quite frankly, all very beloved, do not understand why newer talent like Riley and Ezra get the younger fan favorite contestants. They feel disrespected, by producers, and has essentially set up a rivalry between new versus old pros, saying, quote, they don't have anything personal against Riley or any of the newer pros. It's the system they are angry with. The source added that things have gotten so bad that there are talks of Jenna and Brandon wanting to quit after this season, saying they are fed up with the favoritism and social politics of the show. They don't deserve the treatment they're getting, and they know that. They are considering ending their contracts and walking away. They said producers are also trying to play it cool, but they're not. But if they're not careful, they're in danger of losing all of their legacy talent. And I've been saying, you know what? What I never understand, and this has always been a thing with this industry that I don't get, the people who have really been putting it down and have made their bones on certain shows, and yeah, they get to they're older or whatever the case is, they've been around for a minute. It's like they're not anxious, not like they got arthritis in the knees and they can't do the choreography. It's like I can keep up if I'm whatever age these veterans are. They're probably not even that damn old. You can put me with who's on there? Oh my god, the one that who's Bendy brother. I forgot his damn name. Yeah, I don't know. Robert Irwin, I think is the kid name. Like he's on there, and he's doing well. Whatever. Like you could put a older veteran dancer with Robert Irwin Jr. I think his father name was Robert Irwin too. So I'm like, hey. So I was like, yeah, you can put them with a younger dancer. Why are you trying to be like, oh, I'm gonna put you with somebody who got two damn left feet and is gonna be at the bottom every damn week, and y'all trying to play this up because y'all more interested in trying to make good TV instead of, I don't know. I mean, what do people get out of wanting to watch Dancing with the Stars? Do y'all really watch it? Because I haven't watched Dancing with the Stars in the month of Sundays. I haven't watched it since y'all fired Tom Bergeron, Quiet as It's Kept. So, um, and didn't he have another partner that was on the show that y'all fired? And y'all want to bring in Tyra Banks, which was even a worse choice. And then that's when y'all settled on, I'm non-threatening to black people and white people, Alfonso Ribeiro, and now you got and the co-host being Derek Huff's sister. So the nepotism and all that other stuff is going on. That's cute or whatever. And y'all playing it safe because it's supposed to be like wholesome family entertainment. But what I'm wondering is that why do people, what is the reason that people watch Dance with the Stars these days? Is it because y'all want to see people who aren't the best dancers triumphantly become a great dancer? Or is it that it's just nostalgic television that it's been on for so long that, it's just something that wholesome middle American families just have on to watch? But it seemed like producers get into this place of we only care about the drama of it all. We got to create all this reality TV drama into a competition. We got to go very RuPaul's Drag Race with the drama instead of it just being a good old fashioned competition series. So that could be the reason. But I do feel like there'd be some slight, based on what they're saying, there's some slight disrespect. But look, if y'all sit up in here talking about y'all gonna threaten to leave, the producers probably gonna feel no ways out. They're like, okay, there's other dancers we can go out there and put out there. And what'll probably happen is that you're gonna start getting more people like Maksim Chmerkovskiy pissed off because what they're probably gonna do is get more backup dancers who work with some of y'all favorite dance pop stars instead of hiring people that understand what Dancing with the Stars is. Like for instance, this situation. So yeah, former pro dancer Chmerkovskiy basically went in and let have on product. Well, he's more bad at production than this guy, but apparently he had to catch a stray when he went on his wife Peter Murgatroyd's podcast. I tell you, every damn body got a podcast now. It's called The Penthouse with Peter, and basically said that they should she said that they should give him grace for not understanding the foxtrot technique, because I think it was I don't remember what the theme was, nor do I care. I think it had to do with Wicked or something. I don't remember, nor do I care. But anyway, so they were doing a whatever theme it was. He was doing the foxtrot. Apparently they got in on him because it was like, you don't you weren't doing the correct techniques in regards to the foxtrot. And she's saying we got to give him grace because he doesn't understand it. But I'm with Chmerkovskiy, who said the following. He said, no, we do not have to give him grace. Are you kidding me? I'm sorry. Jan has absolutely no business being a pro on Dancing with the Stars. There's zero foundation, technique, quality, understanding of the partnership. Bro, I'm getting emotional. It is absurd. And this is unreal how blind we have to be. And God forbid, say what's obviously there. Now, the former pro who previously competed on 17 seasons of Dancing with the Stars said Ravnik's performance with partner Jen Affleck during the Wicked, okay, it was Wicked now, I was correct, proved his point. They said he had no idea what Foxtrot is supposed to look like. This is what Chmerkovskiy said. Now, how are you going to expect him to teach it and deliver that message in a format that is completely different from even ballroom dancing? We had this criticism weeks ago, and I'm like, bro, is anybody going to explain it to him? Now, Chmerkovskiy continued critiquing Ravnik's performance by saying that it just went off the cliff. Now, the former pro added that he has nothing personal against Ravnik whatsoever, despite his opinions, but said that the casting was a missed opportunity. Now, Murgatroyd, also a former pro, agreed that, well, Dance with the Stars, said that the secret lives of Mormon Wise star, that's always one way, but they said Affleck. I'm like, she related to Ben, but apparently she on that Mormon show. I don't watch that. Um, And they said that basically she faces a major disadvantage for having Ravnik as a partner. And what people need to realize, we see what y'all over there doing, producers. Y'all chose this young man because of his association with Taylor Swift, not because he actually has bones in understanding what that type of technique is. When you hire people to do certain shows, like if this was So You Think You Could Dance, and you literally had him competing on the show, and he's got to learn a different style of dance by the choreographer that understands the foxtrot, I could understand, us giving grace or whatever the case is. But when you're doing Dancing with the Stars, the whole foundation of the show has always been about, you have these professional ballroom dancers. They do the paso doble, they do the foxtrot, they do, they do all the technical type of dances that they are required to understand how to do on this specific show. And you have to be aware of all these different dances. And then if as a judge, is critiquing you on the fact that, yeah, your framing is incorrect. Your feet need to be a certain way. The way you hold her is supposed to be this way and not the way that you was holding her while you was performing. I don't want to hear no goddamn boos from this stupid ass audience who don't even understand any of the dance techniques. As someone who's been doing it professionally for like 20 some odd years, I think I would have the ability to know if something is being done correctly. And me telling you, yeah, I may sensationalize and get a little Laura Roach with my delivery while I'm on TV because we're making TV. The sentiment is still there where I'm still trying to learn, like teach you the situations, and you should have known all of this. But unfortunately, like I was saying, she's at a disadvantage. She's not really learning all the correct techniques and stuff. He doesn't know what he's doing because I don't know what his dance background is, but clearly it ain't in ballroom. And like I said, when you're doing a tour for someone like a Taylor Swift, I don't think she got people doing foxtrots on her stage while she's singing her myriad of hits. So I don't think that dance is required. And I don't think Life of a Showgirl, any of the beats on that damn album, require you doing a damn foxtrot. Just like that album didn't even require her getting in a showgirl outfit because sonically, the music didn't go with the aesthetic of what she was trying to put out there. So it totally makes sense on why Maksim would say what he said. I know some people feel like, oh, he doing too much because it comes from him, and y'all already know he's sort of like the bad boy of Dancing with the Stars, very opinionated. He can be very direct, and it comes across as rude. But no, he Russian, ain't got nothing to do with him being rude. It's just Russian people are very direct and very upfront with how they talk when it comes to those type of situations. And some people take it as shade or whatever the case is. Me being from New York and knowing Russian people, especially from Brooklyn. Oh, I get it. So, but yeah, he should have been taught the basics. And like I said before, they only hired you, and that's a child, this is a DEI hire. So y'all want to send you DEIs in the wrong connotation. That's what I'm gonna start doing. So he basically got the job not because he was deserving of the position. He was given the job based off of his association with Taylor Swift, and they thought, let's hire a Taylor Swift background dancer because that'll bring the Swifties, like she did with football, over there. Like the Swifties, like Taylor Swift brought a lot of women into getting into football because she's who she hunching with Travis Kelce. They thought that them hiring one of her dancers would get the Swifties to come watch Dancing with the Stars. I don't think Quiet as is kept the Swifties care. Maybe y'all do. Let me know in the comments. But yeah, so I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? First, the first one about producers playing this shady game with trying to push out the older veterans and bringing in these new dancers and pairing them with the younger dancers while taking the vets who've been good TV on the show for years and giving them dancers. I mean, partners that they know is not the best at what they're doing. And what do you think about this whole situation of Maksim speaking out in regards of the whole this dancer Jan Ravnik, who was a Taylor Swift background dancer, getting a leg up because of his association with one of the biggest pop stars in the world, instead of him knowing the actual techniques that you need to learn to be on a show like Dancing with the Stars. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Actually saying, you old like wine. Look at that queen. That's a 2 a.m. bathhouse queen. Wait, who are we talking about? Not you missing bathhouses. I've never been to one. Not air quotes hunting. Oh, oh, you caught that shade? And so I agree. They should have the veteran pros with better partners, and the new hires should be partnering with the bad ones until they put in the time. And if they don't have the ballroom training, yeah, that's agreed. Is that yeah, the younger people have to pay their dues, but now we're in an era of like, oh yeah, they think youth is always they. The one thing about the entertainment industry, um they put so much emphasis on youth and thinking that youth is always better, the young is always better. Like young people don't give a damn about no damn Dancing with the Stars. Dancing with the Stars been on for like I don't even know, like what, over 2 decades. So young people ain't sitting at home watching some damn Dancing with the Stars. I mean, I'm sure they grew up with it because their parents had it on, but they're not sitting breaking their back to watch that show. Now, if you want to bring new people in, and I do feel like if you're new, that you should come on a show and pay your dues. But if you shouldn't just be given a leg up because you're the new guy in town or because of who you're that you're associated with one of the biggest pop stars in the world. Definitely because he's okay. That's why I said oh because he attached to okay. Cal, speaking of which, where is Shangela? She been in hiding since all them allegations came out. Speaking of which, I saw one of her victims alleged Dakota Payne. There was some video of his that popped up in my timeline. Hmm. And I said alleged. I gotta protect myself when I be throwing my little daggers. Uh, okay, so okay, so what we doing? All right, so let's get into some more music news. Music competition on TV news. Look like we got a new competition coming with Simon Cowell as if he ain't got enough damn shows on television, between America's Got Talent and he's got all these other shows that he has. Does he still do X Factor? Is X Factor still even on overseas? But anyway, so yeah, he's doing a new show, and yes, he's bringing Mel B along. Because remember, I could have sworn like one time Robert was like, "Oh, Mel B gonna get fired because of that whole incident that happened on America's Got Talent when she was telling the little Latin performer, I forget who he brought out to perform with him. I think it was like during finale week, and he brought out this. I think it was Manuel Turizo. But anyway, he brought Manuel out who was, with all these little cute Spanish boys that be up here performing and stuff. But anyway, he had this cute little song that came out or whatever. Definitely was doing his thing on the thing. I thought he was gonna win. Apparently he didn't win. But I mean I would have liked him to have won. But then Mel B was somehow that you need to humble yourself. Remember, like the way you go, how you treat people on the way up, you gotta come down, some sort of thing. And everybody was baffled. And even Simon came out and was like, "What are you talking about? Like, he ain't never been rude or whatever the case is. At least what I witnessed behind the scenes." But then come to find out, apparently Mel B likes to get his advice to a lot of people when she ain't been asked. Cause last I talked, we talked. Didn't Posh Spice say that Mel B said the same said something? What is wrong with me today? Like I'm stuttering, and it was like said something similar. See, that's why I was stuttering because I was going to have to say S 3 times. Said something similar where it was when I think what was it? I think it was the Netflix documentary, and she was talking about how like they had met up. They were supposed to do some type of a reunion show or whatever the case was, and I think this is when she was going through this transition period of not wanting to be a pop star anymore and still trying to find her identity. And she had just gotten married and had the baby with David Beckham and all that other stuff. And she was basically like, Mel B said, "Well, you need to don't forget where you came from and all this other stuff." And she was looking at her like, "Bitch, what you talking about?" So it was like Mel B apparently likes to get his advice, but he was trying to, oh, she gonna get fired. I'm like, no, she giving her opinion, and people like when you kind of have like that back and forth disagreement type thing. As long as you don't pull another when you being disrespectful to your boss on the show, then you Gucci. So apparently, yeah, they working together again, and they have a new show coming out called Who's in the Band. Which kind of like when I was like when hearing about this, I was just thinking about that other show that was on Netflix, Building a Band, which we had with oh my god, what was his name from One Direction that just passed away. So anyway, so with this show, he's gonna judge alongside Joe Jonas. as I said, Mel B, who who has collaborated many a times with Simon Cowell in the past and present, and songwriter Savan Kotecha. Ray Ami, who provided Zoe's singing voice in Netflix sensation K-pop Demon Hunters, is on hosting duties. I've been noticing a lot of the K-pop Demon Hunters. A lot of people from that have been singing in that film haven't gone on to success. One of the other male singers, I think, just signed a lucrative deal like a lucrative record deal. So they said, who's in the band? Casting material suggests it will contain a twist on the well-trodden genre, with singers performing the same song at the same time in different colored tubes, which kind of reminds me of Bill and the Band. Remember when they had to sing in these little cubicles? So they said the Who's in the Band test shoot will take place on October 30th. That's in 3 days, two and a half. At Eastbrook Studios in London, sources say the presentation will not air on ABC and there is no series greenlight. It is believed to be part of the network's plan to launch a new talent competition. ABC currently has veteran reality series American Idol, which made Cowell a household name in the US, and its original incarnation on Fox, returning for a new season in early 2026. And I'm like, I don't even know cares about who cares about American Idol? I guess apparently a lot of y'all do because it's coming back for another season. So they said that Who's in the Band hails from a London and LA based production company by the name of Yes Yes Media, which was founded by Richard Bacon. And Cowell has never featured as a judge on an ABC reality series. Sitting out of the network's American Idol reboot, he did collaborate with ABC on American Inventor in 2006, but only as a producer. Cowell has remained a fixture on network TV as a judge and an EP on America's Got Talent. So, yeah, this sounds like an interesting idea, but like I was saying, it's like we've had so many shows. We've had Pop Stars, we've had Making the Band, Building the Band on Netflix. Um, but the question remains, because they said that they're looking to sign the next One Direction in this whole situation. But my thing is this: in this day and age, do people really care about boy bands? Or I would say more or less girl groups. I think girl groups, yes. Boy bands, I don't necessarily know, but I guess if you put it out, I mean, boy bands and girl groups seem to be doing way better as part of like K-pop. Like I've been noticing that because when I worked AT show, when I worked Tomorrow X Together show, when I worked Blackpink's 10 date show, when they did I think it was how many nights? It might have been 2 nights at City Field, basically 2 nights at a stadium. Um And and when I've been at City Field over the summer, we do a lot of K-pop shows, and people turn out for that. A lot of the kids that come to those, they don't even eat or drink or whatever the case. They'll get like a little water or something, but mostly they save their money for the merch. So um, I think there's room if you're trying to do K-pop and stuff. That seems to be the more popular thing. But I don't know if in like regular music space, because I don't even know where we are right now in regards of what's the popular genre of music. Maybe it's more like that dance pop type situation. That's where music is right now. Or music, in my opinion, I feel like it's at a standstill. There's very few people out here who really get, in my opinion, going to be delivering great albums that I'm looking forward to. Particularly, like I'm looking forward to for Slater's new album. I'm looking forward to, and I've been seeing like she's been releasing a couple of little singles. And I'm like, okay, bitch, like I'm loving the direction we going in with this music. And then Rosalia dropped a new song, so I'm looking forward to her new album. Lily Allen's getting a lot of praise for her album, critical praise. A lot of people talking about this is album of the year with her, and it took David Harbour being a POS piece of shit to her for her to come out with the best music she's released in years. So some people out here really taking chances and releasing music. Now the main pop girl is kind of boring, but because I ain't particularly care for Taylor Swift's mediocre mayonnaise American record, I didn't particularly care for Sabrina Carpenter's new album, even though she's currently performing tonight at my job in New York, MSG. So she's gonna be there tonight. She's gonna be there tomorrow. No, yeah, tomorrow because I am there tomorrow. Tomorrow and Friday and Saturday. So she's gonna be doing her thing or whatever the case is, but I didn't particularly care for the record, but I'm sure she'll sell it better on you know, on the stage and on the tour and all that other stuff. So I haven't really been getting my life in regards to like the music, but I like a lot of the more under the radar artists because I feel like they're taking more risk creatively than the main pop girlies because y'all a little boring. Quiet as a cat. But yeah, I mean, I just need more information on this show. I don't know if I'm necessarily feeling this whole, oh, you're going to have people singing at the same time, the same song in a tube. Like, how does that even work? And what if somebody's pitchy? Like, how do we hear everybody singing the song? Like, how y'all gonna work this whole situation out? So they're gonna have them in tubes because I do have a picture. I didn't think to show y'all what it's gonna look like. Hold on, as I do a little situation because I was like, how y'all gonna make this work so that way you can get an idea? Because it is giving the same vibe. Um, it's giving the same vibe as building a band. So you're gonna have them all singing a song in a tube, and what does that mean? That you're gonna have them like try to pitch them as a group or whatever? But I don't know if that's gonna work because they're gonna be like, okay, Netflix already did that, so it's nothing new that you're inventing with this whole situation. But now you think about adding Simon Cowell and these other people to it that everybody will give a damn. But as I continue to stall, I got the picture and there it is. So yeah, they wanted to kind of have like this whole vibe of them on a stage in a tube performing the song. Are they gonna be blindfolded? Like, I just need more information. But it sounds like an interesting concept. And so once they put together a pilot, start shopping it around. It'll be interesting to see what network picks it up because I don't think it'll be ABC. ABC has American Idol, and NBC has The Voice. So it'll be interesting with CBS, but I don't know. A lot of people aren't interested in the geriatric network, except boomers and things of that nature. So anyway, I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story about Simon Cowell creating yet another singing competition series that he said that he's trying to find the next One Direction? Um, I mean, we like some of the acts that's in there. Niall, I believe, is no Louis Tomlinson. I think is supposed to be going on tour. I'm like, wait, is Louis' music popping like that he could do arenas? I know Niall is, and Harry Styles already did I think he did 15 nights at Madison Square Garden. So his flag is hanging up in the garden. And a lot of the girls, when they come there for certain shows or even games or whatever, they were like, oh, I just want to go up here. Like they want to go up to the bridge because that's the closest you can get to it. Or they want to get in a certain place and want to take a picture of the Harry Styles flag that we have hanging up in. I know it's weird, but we just I'm like, look, you having your fantasy, I'm not going to knock you for it. If you're a big Harry Styles fan and you want to take a picture, whatever you want to take a picture of, go ahead. Who am I to stomp on your moment? So yeah, I definitely want to hear from y'all. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. You saying key demographic is women. Okay. And I'm sure some homosexuals watch it. I'm not one of them, but he said, yeah, but I could definitely see women are watching it. Simon or B. Arthur as a drag. He said, I've never seen a full episode of American Idol. Why? Well, of course I have, because I grew up with it. And one of my friends, Ian Bernardo, was on that show. He said boy bands have lost their luster because people have caught on to how orchestrated the modern boy band is and is lessening the credibility of the talent of the group members, at least by optics. Yeah, because it all feels like it's manufactured. But it's like they do the same thing where they put those K-pop performers, they have them go to like a school and they go through extensive training and, you know, the gay gas. You said, what about America's Got Talent? Well, I watch it every now and again. I've never been a big America's Got Talent fan, and then the host kind of annoys me. Although, like I said, I did watch the finale that episode with the kid that had the Latin artist that was up there and performing with him, and then Mel B said her little situation to him, which sparked outrage from some of the judges. Speaking from a former directioner, Louis' fan base is just as passionate as Harry's. Louis just isn't signed to a major label or cares too much about becoming a music legend like the latter. Well, you know what? That's good then. If he's not signed to a major label, but he was able to sell out Madison Square Garden because he is coming in next year. I did see they had the advertisements and stuff up on the jumbotron, so he is coming. I can't remember when. But look, if Demi Lovato is doing the Madison Square Garden and selling it out, that I'm sure Louis is not going to be an issue either. So, and I worked Niall's show. Niall's show was actually pretty good. They both are on it. It's the only thing I like about American Idol was that big bird lady from 20 years ago. I don't remember who that is. They've had a lot of interesting performers on that show back in the day. Okay, y'all. So now let's move on and let's get into some Bad Bunny news. So, everybody and their mama has had an opinion about Bad Bunny, Lil Benito, and the fact that he's going to be performing at Super Bowl halftime, because apparently people have a problem with anybody speaking a different language, singing music, if they don't understand. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Music has never been always about, oh, I got to understand what they say. Music is about feeling and emotion and all that other stuff. And that's why I feel like out of so many genres of the arts, music is the one thing that I feel like is a uniter and connects all of us sonically and spiritually. So that's one thing I've always loved about music, even different styles of music, even if I don't understand the language. Like I listen to all different types of music and not just English speaking music. So I don't speak Portuguese and I don't understand what the hell they saying, but I be liking some of that music over there. They be, and even with the Afrobeat stuff, I be listening to some of that. So I like all different types of music. But anyway, so everybody has had an opinion about it except for Jay-Z until now. So Jay-Z actually had something to say. TMZ stopped him. He was out in New York doing something, probably conducting business per usual, or probably trying to get another damn casino up. I don't know. But yeah, so you remember they asked Trump about him, and Trump tried to act like he was Mariah Carey, like I never heard him, I don't know him, and all this other stuff. I'm like, sir, of course you don't know who that is. First of all, he doesn't clean houses or wipe your toilets with a toothbrush and all this stuff. So you don't give a good goddamn if it ain't one of your stupid ass family members. But then again, you don't care about your family members either, quiet as it's kept. So when you a grade A narcissist only care about yourself, why would you even know who a Bad Bunny is? So I wouldn't expect him to know who Bad Bunny is at the end of the day. So, but then again, I don't know why the press was even asking him that, but I guess they were doing that because, oh, Trump is controversial and you never know what's going to come out of his mouth. And that's ratings for us because that's all the media cares about. The media does not care about, especially corporate media. They don't care about whether or not you guys know the truth. All they care about is the advertisements and making sure that they get paid based on whatever type of controversy they could push out into the universe. They don't care about whether or not y'all know the truth. So they're going to go on and keep giving this man screen time. So now Jay-Z basically says that he has no regrets in regarding picking Benito to do the halftime show. So TMZ recently caught up with him in New York City, where they inquired about all of the outrage surrounding the upcoming halftime show. The mogul made it clear that he could care less. He said, they love him. Don't let them fool you. Jay-Z responds to the backlash comes just a few weeks after Bad Bunny addressed it himself during his monologue on SNL, saying, you may not know this, but I'm doing the Super Bowl halftime show and I'm very happy. I think everyone is happy about it, even Fox News. I'm really excited to be doing the Super Bowl. I know that people all around the world who love my music are also happy. And then he switched to Spanish. We basically, especially all the Latinos and Latinas in the world, where in the United States we have worked to open doors. It's more than a win for myself; it's a win for all of us. Our footprints and our continuation in this country, or contribution in this country, no one will ever be able to take that away or erase it. And I think that's why when you're a person of color, that is what usually transpires when it comes to that whole thing. I just saw a recent video today where they talking about, yeah, Trump is losing his Latin base. I'm like, he should have lost that shit before y'all went to the poll and decided to vote for him. Because what you thought that he was only gonna remove the criminals and the people that snuck into the country without the proper protocols that y'all say that y'all do. But we know how people of color are. A lot of y'all are selfish. A lot of y'all getting this whole place of, oh, I pulled myself up by the bootstrap. I climbed up the ladder the right way. And when I'm done climbing up to the top of the ladder, instead of me lending an extended hand, I'm gonna pull that ladder up, and you got to figure out how you gonna get your behind up there. So there are a lot of people, particularly in the Latin community, that can be from pretty much jealous or envious or don't want to give a people a leg up and like to play that, especially you fucking Florida Latinos, you Cubans. Oh, I be knowing how some of y'all are. in this whole situation. The colorism, child, we could be here all day talking about that. So, um, Jay-Z talking about kill the noise, don't let all them fool you. They love him. I guess he's saying that because it's just like, oh, they don't really hate on him because they don't know his music or whatever the case is. I'm like, I don't know. You, sir, you living in a damn bubble. You know, there are people out here who are vehemently racist. And I guess you don't have to really deal with that because you not Jay-Z from Marcy Projects. You Jay-Z that moved on up to like the palace in the sky. So you are part of the 1%. So you ain't got to deal with the backlash, the racism, you can kill all that noise. Just like your wife is real good at turning off all the negative noise and looking forward. So now you trying to play up that whole situation too. And it can be cute to say that, but I also feel in a way that I feel like a lot of people who are hating on him don't know nothing about Bad Bunny, ain't never listened to his music. I mean, if you are valid in your feelings where you listen to him and you're not particularly a fan because of other reasons, then I totally get that. I'm not expecting everybody to be a Bad Bunny fan, but a lot of these people running out here using this, saying all this rhetoric to him, oh, wow, why they got to pick him, blah, 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 blah. It's like, why they picked him. Number one, he's the biggest musical artist in the world right now, not just on in a specific part of the world, not just in Puerto Rico. Like I told you, like he did multiple nights at Yankee Stadium and sold it out. So that's how big he is, especially in New York. He's going to be huge here, especially with the Latin um demographic that lives in New York. Huge. So he's one of the biggest stars on the planet. And yes, with all of that coming on his shoulders, when you are a person of color or you are a part of like a marginalized community, whether you're a Latino, whether you're a woman, whether you're black, whether you're homosexual, whether you're trans, whatever, and you get that big moment, it's not just you walking into that stadium. It's not just you walking into that room. You have a lot of your ancestors who have paved a little bit of the way. You're carrying them on your shoulders too. And that's why I truly believe why he said what he said in that whole situation, where he said that it's more than a win for myself, it's a win for all of us. So it's like he understands that he's got a lot on his, a lot of weight on his shoulders in regards of when he walks into that room, what he represents and who he represents. Now, speaking of representation and icons and people who paved the way, let's get into Miss Gloria Estefan and her husband Emilio, who icons in the Latin music community, who basically weighed in on this thing as well. So Gloria and Emilio headlined the Icon Q&A panel on Wednesday, October 22nd at Billboard Latin Music's 2025 in Miami, where they reminisced about their beginnings in the industry, reflected on some of the major achievements and shared their views on topics such as the conservative backlash to Bad Bunny's selection for the upcoming Super Bowl halftime show and the strict immigration policies of the Trump administration. Presented by BMI, the panel was moderated by Jesus Gonzalez, Vice President Creative, Latin at the Music Rights Organization, who introduced the power couple as the artists who achieved truly the first Latin crossover and the pillars that this industry has been built upon after revolutionizing pop music in the 80s with their Miami Sound Machine. Saying, quote, I have worked on 3 Super Bowl halftime shows, 3 Olympic Games, and produced for 6 U.S. presidents with 48 events at the White House, said the number one Latin music producer, noting that he is neither a Democrat nor a Republican. Let me find out you independent, but we need to have opportunities. For example, Bad Bunny, who has incredible success and was already part of the Super Bowl with Shakira and Jennifer Lopez in 2020, has been the subject of major news coverage. I'm very happy with what he has done for Puerto Rico, for his country, with his recent residency at the Coliseo, and we must have opportunities in different languages. It's a normal thing. The most important thing for me is that people see the value of Latinos who came here to contribute, to work, and the gratitude we have for being in the best country in the world. He added, as a Cuban immigrant who truly achieved the American dream, I don't want a child to think they don't have opportunities in this great country, even though you have clear folks who ain't never worked a day in their damn life and had to pull themselves out by their bootstraps. They had money handed down to them by their daddy, so that they're telling you who's American enough and who isn't. And you already know who I'm talking about. 47, 45, and 47 is what I'm talking about. Meanwhile, Gloria expressed her concern over the current government's aggressive deportation campaign and the loss of respect for other people's opinions, saying we're human beings and we're kind of split down the middle on probably everything that exists. But one thing that's always inspired me about this country that I deeply love and respect is the fact that there always has been respectful discourse. And after every debate, people shook hands. And it scares me to see that's changing. I agree with her with that because there has always been this whole situation that it's like, yeah, we could agree to disagree. I can have my opinion on things. You can have your opinion on things. And we can come into a mutual understanding, or we can be like, okay, we could agree to disagree. Let's shake hands on it. Let's move on. You're going to believe what you're going to believe, and I'm going to believe what I want to believe. But I want you to at least try to be open minded enough to understand where I'm coming from, just like I'm being open minded to try to understand where you're coming from, even though you might be a little off on some of the stuff you're saying. And I'm going to push back a bit. I want you to at least try to see it from my point of view and vice versa. And we shake hands, we move on. Not this administration. It's basically my way or the highway. Can you imagine having to live in a house with people that literally think that way and want to not only and it's not just enough, they get to control the wife, the kids, and everybody who's in that immediate circle. But now they want to spread that to everybody else and wants everybody to be a monolith and just believe and agree with everything they agree with to the extreme. I don't want to live in that world. I don't want to be a part of that. And that's the thing that I love about this country. But the fact of the matter is, we need these Democrats to wake the fuck up and realize that this little fight that you're doing over there, where you thinking, oh, yeah, this is an America, like America that we used to have and everything. I'm still, what you holding on to? Because that world is gone. That's like when I was hearing about Kamala Harris, somebody she want to run for president. Okay, sis, well, get out there and start your campaign. You and Gavin Newsom. Somebody y'all want to run for president. But if you are, you got to realize that the world that we living in right now is not the world that you still believe that exists. The GOP has shifted how this country is, how they want America to be. So you got to meet them where they at. You got to be just as messy and petty as they are, and you have to, get out in the streets and free Palestine with all of that, and be willing to get arrested and go to jail. You got to kind of like adapt a page out of which I know a lot of y'all afraid of me. Y'all still giving that pushback. You need to take a page out of Zora Mamdani handbook because y'all don't see like how this man has single-handedly according to certain people, he ain't never had a damn job. So what does he know? He know more. What we do know, he about to beat Cuomo ass at the poll. We know that much, and we know he ain't out of touch like you are. So, and then recently, where was him, Bernie Sanders and AOC sold out this rally at man, what was it called? This is arena. I've never been there, but I always see like the advertisements and stuff on the train. There's like this theater spot in Forest Hills. I think it's outdoors. Apparently they sold it out. It was like a lot of people there. And this is a rally for a Democratic mayor, Democratic socialist running for mayor. Where they do that at? That's where the excitement is. The excitement is funny. Like we're the hub of where the excitement is boiling. And look, I don't mind being a guinea pig for something fresh and new. Because New York is a lot more progressive than people want to give it credit for. So once that happens, we could spread that out. And then and this is what the people are afraid of. Now, if Zoran becomes the example, then other people are going to see, oh, it's possible. We have that hope and everything that be wanting, that fight, that hope and all the other stuff. And it'll jar other people to jump in and fight this fascist regime. And that's what we need. And I love the fact that while Jay-Z taking this when they go low, we go high bullshit ass commentary. I love the fact that Gloria and Emilio is really speaking the truth about how we need to come together as a people and we got to fight the enemy. So, Jay-Z, just sit and roll in your dough and count your damn money because apparently all you care about is making deals in Saudi Arabia than giving an actual opinion about what people are saying regarding an artist that you picked to perform at the damn Super Bowl halftime. So, let me see if she said anything else. Oh, they also said, and the freedoms we share must be defended, mi gente. There is no reason to be cruel to people. Yes, we absolutely need our border to have legal process, but there's no need to take someone that put years of work into this country that has sacrificed. They are not criminals. She continued, receiving a roaring applause from the audience at the Fillmore Miami Beach, saying, it scares me to see what we're seeing. It scares me, and I will always speak up because freedom must be defended. Absolutely. And that's what I said I love about Gloria And I really hope they do make her biopic, because the word on the curb is, like I told y'all before, Rachel Ziegler is in talks to play Gloria Estefan. That's the rumor that's going around. Now, I don't know if there's actually a movie being made, but there was rumors floating around about it, and hopefully it becomes true, because if anybody needs a biopic, it's definitely Gloria. So she's celebrating, and shout out to her, because she is celebrating 5 decades in music and 4 decades of conga. Conga, shaka body, baby, do that conga. The mega hit by Miami Sound Machine that launched her to stardom. Meanwhile, her husband just topped the list of the top producers of the 21st century on Billboard's Hot Latin Songs chart with 14 #1 hits between 2000 and 2024 as a producer for artists including Carlos Vives, Paulina Rubio. Oh, I like Paulina. And of course, Gloria Estefan. Remember when Paulina tried to go Anglo with her music? It wasn't hitting, but she was trying to do that crossover. It didn't work out though. She went right back to the Spanish music. So then they also said that the 2025 Latin Music Awards will air on, oh, they said, oh, it aired already, October 23rd on Telemundo and Peacock, and where Bad Bunny will be honored. Oh, wait, I haven't seen that. So if they said it's on Peacock, I may have to go over there and check that out, because I definitely want to watch that. So yeah, that's all I got on this topic. So I definitely want to hear from y'all regarding what y'all overall thoughts on what Jay-Z had to say about Bad Bunny upcoming performance, and what Gloria and her husband had to say about the performance, and all the other things that they said about this fucked up ass administration. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. AGT in this show. Oh, can you imagine if they did that back to back, America's Got Talent, and then they put that show on afterwards? She done had some work done. He looked like the janitor. Well, of course, she one of a certain age. I'm sure she's had a little nip and tuck. I have no faith in Democratic leadership and they cowardly ass. Yeah, not centrist not corporate Democrats, not the ones that basically continue to suck the tit of APAC. I don't see no kind of change with that, but I definitely see, hopefully Zoran understands that he doesn't need the support of a Hakeem Jeffries and all these other corporate Democrats or whoever in order to be successful. He doesn't need them, because it's like when you stand up against the patriarchy, and you realize how much power you have, and that's from the people, power to the people, and from the people, and of the people, then you realize that, oh, I don't need these regular status quo people to get shit done. I got people with me. And I'm sure you probably need some of those people when you get in them rooms and whatever. But for the most part, it's about, the voting. And as long as we still a democracy, we can still depend on that. Did you see that Nico Aesthetic new video about that one chopped Latino on Twitter saying race? Wait, what? Mm-mm. I must have missed that one. Hola, buenos días. He get on my nerves with that. In today. He got his little isms. Or when he referred to himself with the third, but let me stop making fun of him. Shout out to my friend Nico. Being messy. But anyway, so let's see where we going with the show. All right, yeah. Speaking of adult cinematographers, because that's one of his turns. Let's talk about Cardi B, because she talking about the sex workers are out here dropping the rates on the coochie and the boochie. Well, I guess maybe because she's bisexual, she's talking about the coochie. So we're just gonna focus on that. So yeah, the Am I the Drama rapper basically went into the Instagram video. I was thinking about playing it or whatever, but I'm like, we don't need to. I'll just let you know what she said. But yeah, it was on YouTube, and around the 11:45-minute mark, she started talking about how currency is going down on the coochie. She said, how the economy is bad, because not even the prostitutes is getting fly. Where have you seen a hoe with a good Chanel bag? She said, I'm like, girl, what you talking about? She said B words was buying Chanel bags like they was fucking female rappers. Where have you seen a bitch with a chain with her name on it, huh? Where have you seen a bitch pop out with a effing good Birkin? Even the prostitutes going through it. The hoes be selling pussy for $10,000. How these bitches is going for $2,500? Or she said now the bitch is going for $2,500 because of the effing economy is bad. Now, accurate information about sex work rates is difficult to come by because I don't know how y'all know. Like, how do you poll this? How do you set up a whole poll for the host poll? Like, how do we find out, like, how many people out here is what you charging, and based on the last charge, if you bringing down the price? Now, it's funny how in every other business, instead of y'all not giving discounts, y'all actually raising the price. Except prostitutes. The prostitutes trying to get a good deal going. Whereas regular people is running around, all these businesses want to raise everything but the damn wage. But Buzzy, oh, I can get that for $2,500. Okay. First of all, who paying $10,000 for coochie? That's got to be, child. Your coochie better have, your coochie better be made of gold. It better be diamond encrusted. Your clit better be diamond encrusted, especially. You better be giving like Showgirls tease, that's one of my favorite movies. Like, it'd be a whole lot going on down there for you to be charging some damn $10,000. But I guess it's also the companionship and all the other stuff comes with it. Now, what else is the article say? Okay, they said in addition to Cardi's rather perceptive take on the economy, she also slammed Donald Trump voters who are having trouble paying their bills. She said Donald Trump was never for y'all poor MFers, she said. Donald Trump was never for the poor people, for the white poors, for the black poors, for the Spanish poors, for the Asians, for the Indians. He don't give a about none of you. When I talk about poor, I'm not talking about poor people that's under the poverty line. To him, even millionaires are poor. He don't give a fuck about the millionaires like me either. So yeah, he's the only people he want to hobnob with are technocrats and oligarchs. All he cares about is if you are a Jeff Bezos level of rich, if you are a Elon Musk level of rich, if you are a David and Larry Ellison level of rich, then he is messing with you. He's not messing with a Cardi B level of rich. He's not messing with a Jennifer Lopez level of rich. He's not messing with a Bad Bunny level of rich. He's not messing with a Will Smith level of rich. He's not messing with a Tom Cruise level of rich. He's not messing with a Beyonce. Well, maybe he would mess with a Beyonce level of rich because they got the level of rich that would be the type that he would fuck with. So he would mess with a level of rich. I'm trying to think of who else. He would mess with a Nicki Minaj level of rich. I could go on. He ain't gonna mess with a Halle Berry level of rich. He not gonna mess with a Brad Pitt level of rich. Like, he want that hundreds of millions of dollars. Like, you got to be, well, not even millions. It probably got to be in the B's because he loved throwing around big numbers. He like dealing with all of that. So yeah, she right. He not with her level of rich. So now, last week, Cardi criticized the Trump administration for cutting 186 billion from the supplemental, well, basically SNAP. I don't know why I was going to sit out there and spell out the whole damn thing, which helps tens of millions of Americans buy groceries. And child, y'all about to gag because in 4 days, that SNAP benefits ain't coming in. And that's what you people out here, you maggots, need to be more concerned with, because quiet as a cat, y'all be the ones that mostly be using the SNAP benefits. It ain't me. I don't use SNAP. I use my own coins that I make from work. Where I go food shopping for myself, and yeah, I be gagging because them grocery prices ain't cheap. But for the most part, I use my own money that I make from work, doing this show and my regular job, to buy my groceries and things of that nature. And so like I said, everything is going up except the wages. But I understand there's people out here who are struggling and who need those SNAP benefits. And I've been seeing a lot of people on social media who just putting out these disgusting videos where y'all are laughing and rejoicing over the fact that that mothers, families and the kids and everything are gonna go hungry. Like, who salivates, who enjoys that? Like, to me, I don't get pleasure out of other people suffering. Like, because what does that do for you? Does that make you sleep better at night? Does that make you feel good about yourself? All it's going to do is give your ass crow's feet, early gray hairs, heart palpitations. You the only one that's going to be all miserable and evil and old looking. Look at Stephen Miller, old looking ass. How he in his early 30s looking like he pushing 60? Because all that hate ages you. Same thing with Donald Trump. Donald Trump, every time you see him, look like he melting on camera in real time. Like, he literally remind me of that politician in X2. When he learned, remember when he turned into water? That's what he gives me. Like he full of water about to just burst. Or maybe something out of the faculty where they got that little parasite that goes up in you and just sucks all the like drains all the liquid out. You gotta constantly drink water to keep yourselves hydrated. But that's what he gives. So I don't that's just sad and unfortunate that it's just like, oh, when you cutting SNAP benefits, there are people out here who are working federal jobs that have not even got their their paychecks because the government shut down. And the reason why he shut down the government, well, A, because they don't want to usher in that lady that will be the deciding vote on getting them Epstein files released, but also because he wants to cut health care. He wants to cut billions of dollars in healthcare, which is going to affect billions of people, millions of people in this country. So we got hundreds of millions of people. We don't have billions of people in America, but we have what was it, like 300 million people? I think that live in America, maybe more. That's unaccounted for. But these days, the way y'all rounded up immigrants who actually are legal here, some of them, not all, but whatever. The amount of people y'all rounding up, we might not even have that much. The way y'all rounding up people, sending them off the countries they wasn't even born in. How you send somebody who was born in El Salvador to fucking Uganda? Like, make that make sense. But that's what they doing. That's not what they telling y'all in legacy media. So, I totally. So yeah, but he wants to, like, that's basically what it is that the reason why we have the government shut down because he wants to cut healthcare. The one thing that Democrats said do not touch, and you want to know something, I'm actually glad they found a balls with this and they haven't budged. I'm like, look, some people just gonna have to go hungry, and I'm glad that people like Kathy Hochul and so many others have said that we've set up funds where we can have food drives and all, $100 million in food drives that we can have for people who need it, and you can go down to the drive and get you whatever it is that you need. If y'all got blankets or whatever the case is, don't throw them out, send them down to a shelter, be it a dog shelter or a regular shelter, because the dog's gonna be cold too this winter, and they're gonna need ways to keep warm and things of that nature. So it's funny how we the people have always been the ones that come together against the government. It's never been the government that comes and unites the people. There'd be a few. Zoran so far is the only one that I've seen that's out here really doing that. But for the most part, the way you get things done in this country has always been we the people have to rise up and be like, enough is enough. Y'all can't just keep taking, and we don't get nothing in return. And yeah, there's always going to be these morons out here who are just, happy to be, they would rather burn their own house down so that way other people don't have it, which I don't understand that mentality. So you rather go hungry, and even though you won't snap and you about to be affected, you rather go hungry and starve just so that that other person can have it. Y'all keep talking about what immigrants be getting the snaps and this. I'm like, y'all really don't understand how SNAP benefits work out here. That's not how SNAP benefits work. And once upon a time, I was on food stamps. I'm not on anymore, but that was like years ago when it was just like I really needed, like I was in hard times and I had to jump on food stamps just so that way I can get myself back up on my feet. And my thing is, when people sit there complaining about SNAP benefit, oh, well, they just taking advantage of the system and all this other stuff. I'm like, well, wait a minute. The real conversation is why is 40 million people on food stamps? Why aren't people making a livable wage where they could afford to not have to rely on government assistance so that way they can feed themselves and their families? If these companies would actually pay a living wage, then people wouldn't need to rely on social benefits in order to survive. But y'all talking about it's a handout. It's not no damn handout. Y'all know exactly what it is, but y'all have these bullshit narratives that y'all want to post on social media because you feel like it's gonna get you brownie points, especially some of you coons. The one that little coon I saw that was on, I think it was on CNN, that was up in there trying to do a whole situation. I forget who it was. Don't even care who that child was. But sitting there talking a whole bunch of rhetoric about food stamps, about well, his family is on it. So you rather your family starve so that way they don't have it. I guess maybe they family members you don't like, or you thinking because you on TV you doing better. But you better hope and pray, a lot of y'all that sit and spew all of this, that you don't end up in a situation where you have to depend on public assistance in order to survive. And when that day comes, I don't want to hear it because I'm gonna be laughing at your ass. I'm like, that's your karma for you over here spewing hatred and vitriol and ignorance towards other people because you happy that you had to basically sell your soul to pull yourself up by the bootstrap, and everybody else is out here just struggling and ain't as fortunate as you are. So yeah, so that's all I got to say on that whole situation. I was not planning on going on a whole political tangent, but Cardi, you got me started when you said what you said in that video. So yeah, I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you think, guys? Think of what Cardi had to say and all that good stuff. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right now. Um, she may be. I mean, she is from the hood. You said, especially here in Florida, the trailer park people whip out that EBT card like it's a platinum card. Okay. Well, look, they're gonna be struggling, and I'm sure they all went and vote. Most of them voted for Trump, and them shop owners losing all that money. Okay. And that's what it is too, because I know a lot of these companies, especially Walmart, who don't want to pay a living wage to their damn workers. And a lot of their workers depend on using the SNAP benefits to even shop in that place. Cause and I'm like, I'm glad I'm of the situation where I don't have to rely on a Walmart. But when I was in the circus, I had to rely on a Walmart because that was the closest thing that was to us when we were doing rehearsals and stuff up in New Jersey. That was all that was available. And I used to look forward to them drives because when there's nothing to do in the middle of nowhere, all you got is, oh yeah, let's go on a Walmart run. So we would just go and spend a little, the stuff was inexpensive. You go up in there and you just buy food or whatever the case is, and did what you had to do until you need to do it. So I don't understand that, people not understanding, like, when you on hard times, you can't judge people for that. And hooray for you if you're able to, live the life of luxury and you're not on the poverty, you're above the poverty line and all other stuff, but have some kind of empathy and understanding for other people. I just don't understand this major hate for others and the way they live. Maybe I'm built different. And you said Amazon is laying off. Yeah, I heard that mess. They were talking about laying off Amazon and I believe Walmart, and I heard Target too is laying off people. Well, Target, y'all doing that's happening because y'all asses was racist, and we ain't let our foot off y'all neck when y'all decided to pull that DEI mess. So now y'all talking about laying off more people, and they're gonna replace it with all them stupid machines. Which you definitely need a human being to stand there and make those things work. To piggyback off my comment yesterday about OF creators, the economy is hitting creators too. I see so many more discounts. Yeah, I've been seeing that too. I'm like, damn, the discount, some of y'all be charging like $4. And you said, although that PPV after subscribe is a shame. Yeah, that's another thing too. I don't know if we mentioned that yesterday, but I said, look, if you want to give a discount on your regular situation, that's cute. But why are we doing pay-per-view situations? Like, no. Why are you charging more for other content on top of me subscribing to your regular content? It's like I'm not paying multitude of different tiers. You are not freaking HBO Max. You are not Hulu. You are not you're not all the other little streaming. So you are not a streaming service. So I'm not paying different tiers for different things. I feel like you should do if you're gonna go and give people quality work, if they know what your value is and they know the quality work that you're bringing to a lot of your content, charge one flat fee. I'm sure you'll probably make a good living with the amount of people that's giving you money a month, but people get greedy and learn to budget and live beyond your means. All right, y'all. So now, we are down to our final four topics. I'm like, oh yeah, this show was ending kind of early because it wasn't a lot going on in the news. It's a little slow news day. So yeah, we got four more topics left. So before we get our final four, if you have not already, hit that like button, subscribe, notification bell, all that good stuff. So that way, when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, definitely helps out with the algorithm and pushes it out there so that way other people who aren't familiar with the show gets to see this mess that we were talking about over here whenever I have free time to do the show. So yes, please and thank you. It is greatly appreciated for those of you who support this messy show of mine. So without further ado, let's get into most celebrity news and gossip. And let's talk about Miss Halle Bailey and DDG, who have finally reached a custody agreement. About damn time, Chad. Have reached a custody agreement regarding their child together. I was gonna say one child. Halo. How can see your halo, halo, halo? I was wondering if that's why she named that child after that Beyonce song. Anyway, I wonder if she sings that song to him. But anyway, so while the court's latest rulings give Bailey temporary control over decision making for Halo, these are not final custody orders. Now, according to TMZ, Halo will spend Wednesdays with DDG certain weekends. A new schedule will go in effect in roughly 2 months. Now, according to court documents obtained by People, Bailey was awarded temporary custody of Halo in early May of 2025, alongside a temporary restraining order against DDG, real name Daryl Dwayne Granberry Jr. The order reportedly requires the YouTuber turned rapper to stay at least 100 yards away from both Bailey and their son. In her filing, Bailey accused DDG of both physical and emotional abuse and requested that his visits with Halo be supervised. She also sought to restrict his ability to travel with their child outside the state without permission. In response, DDG filed emergency motion seeking to block Bailey from taking Halo out of the country. That was around the time, I think, when she was going to Italy. And I believe she was going there to film a movie or something or another, but then they also was trying to say she was on vacation, claiming that she was attempting to limit his parental rights. He also questioned her fitness as a parent and asked for sole custody of a more restrictive co-parenting or a more restrictive co-parenting arrangement. I know he wasn't going to get the full sole custody situation, especially with him being a streamer, and Halle could use that against him in the court of law, especially like when you're doing those streams and God knows what you be saying on there and who you be having in that room and if there be weed smoke or whatever the case is. I don't know. I've never seen a DDG live stream, but I'm assuming that when it comes down to it, now I want to stereotype that you see a young black male and a type, he kind of gives like that whole Kai Cenat type of vibe that the court's gonna look at that as like, no, we ain't giving you full custody of no child. Because how you even gonna have time to spend with the kid when you literally make a living spending hours streaming? And I know there've been these new trends or whatever that people just be going and doing streaming for like days. Like they don't sleep or nothing. They stay up for hours and hours and hours and hours on end. And there's all kinds of other things where they try to get people to, I guess, to just be watching their little streams or whatever the case is. So there's a lot of that goes on. So they also went on to say that both restraining orders have been dropped. Now, while the court's latest ruling gives Bailey temporary control over decision making for Halo, these are not final custody orders. They also said that they've now become the subject of public scrutiny and legal turmoil throughout the whole situation. So that's great that they figured out a way to come to a cordial mutual decision where it's like they had the restraining order. She was like, you know what? We've come to a mutual understanding. We don't need the restraining orders. We can actually, unfortunately, it had to be at the hands of the court, had to jump in, but we can come to a mutual agreement where it's just like, we can make this work. I'm going to be I've got the full custody. You have the temporary custody where basically you get to spend Wednesdays and certain weekends. So we just have to work that out in the situation. And I guess with the way that these two work as both in entertainment, that they can make that work. And I always say, like, you know what? I love when parents can be mature enough to come together and figure out how to be mutual and adults in this really because first of all, I feel like y'all both was too young to be out here pushing out a damn baby. But now that y'all got kids, and just because you over 21 don't necessarily mean you mature enough to have a damn child. Because we've seen some people out here who be pushing out babies at whatever age, and y'all still be running out here immature, don't have, having all these kids, be out here whining and crying. I've seen enough of them damn TikTok and Instagram videos where y'all be talking about, oh, I regret it. I'm like 25 and I got 5 kids with different baby daddies. And yeah, it's a lot. And I don't have the ability to be taking care of them and doing this and doing that. And I regret it. And it was like, yeah, I'm glad that, you know what, with these two, they have the financial wherewithal. But like we said with Nick Cannon, just because you got a whole lot of money, don't necessarily mean that that should be enough. That's going to deal with the kid. Like that's going to be enough to satisfy being a parent because it's not. There's also that quality time. A lot of times, kids don't give a good goddamn who their parent is. They don't care if they parent with Jesus damn Christ. If you're not spending that quality time with them, then that causes a whole emotional turmoil. So that's what that's about. It's like showing that you love them, showing that you could be there for them at certain events or whatever the case is. And I'm just glad that they were able to work out whatever it is that they were going to work out with this whole situation. So shout out to you too. And I'll definitely keep this abreast of the story as it develops, especially, regarding, they said this is temporary. So this is not the official on the dotted line, ink is dry court situation. It's not set in stone. But for now, they dropped the restraining orders, and he gets Wednesdays and certain weekends. I guess they'll have to decide which weekends he gets. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding the latest on Halle Bailey and DDG, and the fact that yes, they've decided to put their grown man and lady panties on, and you know have figured out how to come to a mutual agreement regarding being cordial adults and parents and making it work for the sake of the child. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Ramon Hot, who's that? Charges $4.99 for his OF. He is posted every day. Damn, he is fine with. Oh, I think I might know who that is. I do like some of them some of them Brazilian boys when they be having these big afros. That ain't the only thing big they be having. Big butts, big fronts, big everything. But for $5, well, does he live in Brazil? Because who knows? That $5 might go a long way. And he probably has a big audience. So, Brazilian, in Brazil, I guess, a lot of that money goes a long way. I still can't share you and me both. I can't name one song of him either, even though they say he a musician. I'm a big believer in young love waiting more than 5+ years until they start bringing children into this world. No child wants to grow up in a world when mommy and daddy don't get along. Exactly. Luckily enough for me, I never had to deal with that issue. My parents are still together. But I know people who are a product of divorce. I know people who have had to deal with the fact that their parents don't get along, they're not in their lives and never had to, that I totally get that dynamic because I know people who have experienced it. And so I empathize and I understand. But I do agree, like that's really a maturity thing. Like you really need to take the time to really think about whether or not you want to bring. Now I know there's accidents that happen, and some people don't believe in terminating a pregnancy, but it happens. Speaking of terminating pregnancies, I don't know if y'all saw, but Britney Spears, there's an interview. Remember Sam Lutfi, who used to be in Britney's camp back in the day? There was an interview that I saw with him on Popcorn Planet. That's on YouTube. He dropped 2 parts. He has to drop the next part. He was talking about, damn, I forgot that woman's name. The one that was trying to get all up in the Britney conservatorship, and then she was trying to get Lindsay and a bunch of others. She was talking about how that lady was doing all kinds of weird spells and stuff in front of Britney house, and that may have had something to do with Jamie Lynn giving her access to Britney property. He said a whole lot of stuff. He talked about how, Kevin Federline's shady ass. He revealed a whole lot about him. He also talked about how, which surprised the hell out of me, that when Britney was going through a lot of the stuff with the paparazzi and they were no longer together, he actually called up Britney and his Justin Timberlake. I don't know if I said his name, but yeah, Justin Timberlake and Justin's mother, who was like basically like another mother to Britney, because Britney's mother and father are trash, had called them up and was like, if you need a place to get away from the paparazzi or whatever, we have a space out in Tennessee. We can get you the private plane. We can fly y'all out and y'all can hide from the press and all this other stuff. So they let it extend the hand. They were somehow like very much how Justin was being out there, very much calling all the time and wanting to get in, like not wanting to get back with Britney, but I guess they both had this whole situation. There was a special place in each other's lives, which probably the only truthful thing I'm thinking that Kevin Federline said in that book and in the interviews was that Britney had called up Justin before, on the night of their wedding, probably because they still had that bit of a connection there. Even though Justin was allegedly out here cheating and doing all this other stuff, which Britney believed that Kevin was also doing, because he mentioned that as well, that Britney had called up Sam or whatever the case was. It was like, I think Kevin's cheating and da 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 da, so on and so forth. And I'm sure he was. He tries to act like he's so innocent in this situation. And then when he started talking about Jamie Lynn, I'm like, yeah, that bitch. I don't like her either. And I knew my gut was where it was and why it felt the way it felt. They never had, he also mentions they never had a relationship, probably because of the whole age gap thing. And we also know that the only reason why Jamie Lynn got Zoe 101 is because of who her sister was. It wasn't because she was famous. It wasn't because she had the excuse me, she had the talent or the wherewithal. It was because people like Britney. Britney was one of the biggest pop stars on the planet. So it was like, oh yeah, let's give her little sister something over on the Disney Channel. And then Sam said out of rebellion, Jamie Lynn opted to get pregnant. And he said, who want to deal with a pregnant chick in Disney at your age at 16? She didn't care. She wanted to do whatever. And I don't really think that, I think like the whole family, Jamie Lynn don't like Britney. I feel like Jamie Lynn resents Britney. I think they all resent Britney. Britney's nothing but a cash cow to them, and how they knew by keeping her in that conservatorship, they get to have control over her. Britney, and this is why I feel like Britney doesn't want to make music. Britney doesn't want to perform because they took something that she loved and weaponized it. They were talking about how like they weaponized her, like, oh, if you don't go out and do this and you don't do that, then you'll never get to see your boys. They weaponize her children against her. They always threaten her with her kids. This is coming from Sam. And they wanted him out of the picture because he was the voice of reason, and they wanted her to be alone. They wanted her to be isolated. They even said that whenever she got into relationships, they would try their damnedest to fuck up her relationships. They ain't go too hard on the whole Justin thing because they were both two big pop stars in the world. So that kind of worked in regards to the business aspect. But anytime she got in a relationship, they tried to find many a ways to sabotage it. And I do feel like that Kevin Federline was her act of rebellion. The problem was Kevin Federline is a low down dirty dog, in the words of Seeley from The Color Purple. My parents are somehow still together as well, but I've been around so many children under divorce. My cousin had a kid with a guy she knew for about 3 years. Child, I'm going to end up getting a divorce. But that's why I always say when it comes to relationships, I always look at everything as temporary. Friendships, relationships, family relationships. I always look at it as like, it's gonna last a season. I'll never expect it to last like forever. Which is what I feel society always teaches us to believe. Man, that was a good interview, man. I gotta watch the third part whenever they drop that one. All right, now let's move on and let's get into some homosexual news. Let's talk about Brent Corrigan. So, a blast from the past. And funny enough, I was thinking about him the other day. I'm like, why haven't I heard a month of Sundays from like some of our vintage adult performers like Brent Corrigan? And apparently, Brent Corrigan decided to give us an update on what he's been up to in the whole world situation. So, shout out to Pink News for this story. So, porn legend Brent Corrigan has revealed that he has been absent from social media for 3 years because he suffered a massive seizure, which had him at one point on life support. So, adult film star Corrigan, whose real name is Sean Paul Lockhart, and also had a movie with oh my god, what was that boy name? The cute little actor we found out was a homosexual. He actually looked kind of well, he didn't kind of look like he was cute though, but he was in that movie King Cobra, which no shade, I kind of liked it. It wasn't the greatest movie, but I liked it. And also, if I'm not mistaken, I think James Franco was in that movie as well. He was in that Teen Beach movie with that was supposed to be like the next High School Musical, but it didn't turn out to be that way. But anyway, so he rose to fame in the 2000s, and his life was depicted in the film King Cobra. He was unimpressed by the movie and accused the filmmakers of bastardizing my early years in porn. Well, that sounds about right with every damn biopic. All they do is bastardize it. You don't never get the real truth. Now, on Saturday, October 25th, Corrigan returned to social media after a 3-year break. Prior to that, he last posted on IG in November of 2022. 4 months ago, he took to Twitter for the first time in 3 years to post an image of himself riding a horse. Now, in a thread of new posts, Corrigan said he had an important life update to share, revealing that on February 23rd, he suffered from something that was basically labeled what he said it was a massive seizure. So let's get into those threads. Now, he said I was immediately rushed to the hospital where I was placed on life support, but unfortunately, they weren't able to register any brain activity. It was by some strange miracle that he was saved by the incredible hospital staff, he went on to say. Now, since then, he has been recovering and has had to relearn how to do basic things such as walk and eat. He left hospital 4 months. He left the hospital. They said he left hospital. What are we in Canada? He left the hospital 4 months later and has been helped back to daily life by family and friends. Back to life, back to reality. Now, believe it or not, even I even started riding horses, he said. And if you know where to look, you can still find me out having a good time on weekends. Now, dressed in trousers, a tank top, and a cowboy hat, he is seen smiling broadly in the picture. He said he even hoped to enter a horse race in a few weeks' time. Now, one fan responded by writing, I'm great. It's great to see that you're riding good. While another person said, glad you're okay. Take care. So, I'm actually glad that he's, doing well and all this other stuff. I want to see if there was any other comments. Um, One person also said, knowing your build, I'm guessing it's the guy with the shirt open, missing you. Um, oh, because it was a picture of him. It was like a Halloween picture or whatever. I'll show y'all in a minute, but I'm reading the comments. Um, Another person said, "Oh my goodness, I'm glad you're okay and recuperating. I do have a question if it's not too personal. Did you experience any kind of what they call a near death experience? I was just watching something on that phenomenon last night. Again, I'm glad to hear all is well." And he went and said, "Sadly, no, LOL." So, um, and then they said, "Oh, Sister Roma, shout out to her." She said, "Wow, life is a gift and everything can change in a minute. Keep fighting, living, and thriving. Love you." And another person, Liam Riley says, sending you so much love and positive energy and a happy early birthday. Then we had Kevin West says, oh, you know how happy this makes me to see you. I love keeping up with you. Want my number? I will give it to you. Again, I'm extremely happy to see you again. He can tell I have missed you, all the posts I posted. Another person said, thanks for sharing, and I hope the worst is behind you. Keep moving forward and love you. Keep posting. So a lot of people were sending their, well wishes and things of that nature, but what I find quite strange is the fact that, yeah, he said that he had a massive seizure. He was placed on life support, but they weren't able to register any brain activity. So what I'm getting from that, because when you're saying that you're not weren't able to register any brain activity, what I'm wondering is, did they give him an MRI and they couldn't find out what may have caused the massive seizure? Because that's pretty scary. Like, it's that if you're not someone who's prone to seizure and all of a sudden you have a massive seizure, I mean, I don't know what his health history is or whatever the case is. If he's always had seizures and he's kind of kept it quiet, he's been prone to it and he has them. Because I knew, like, there was a period where my goddaughter's mother, may she rest in peace, was someone who was prone to seizures. There was like years later because I never knew her to have seizures. I knew her mother would have a seizure. Her mother passed away from a massive seizure. Then Michelle, who is my goddaughter Jocelyn's mother, was having seizure, whatever. She wasn't taking her medication. She wasn't taking care of herself. So she ended up having a massive one and she passed away. And I think it was the both of them. They really weren't taking care of themselves. But it's just like, yeah, that's the scariest thing in the world. It's like, where does seizures generate from? Is it a hereditary situation? And if you are having these sort of things, because yeah, when you have seizures, you can't drive, you can't do any of the things that a normal regular person would do. Because God forbid you're behind the wheel and you have a seizure, and then you cause an accident, or you end up injuring yourself and others. So I'm wondering what this all stemmed from, but he's like, "Yeah, I went and I got it." He went and they couldn't find anything. That's got to be the scariest thing because it's like, yeah, after I'm having that seizure, then it's like you're hoping and praying that that doesn't happen again, and then you're spending a lot of years getting yourself back to learning how to walk and how to talk and how to do just the regular things that a lot of us take advantage of. So I'm glad that he's better. I'm glad that he's in a good place. And I'm glad that he's doing the thing that he loves to do because if you know anything about Brent Corrigan, I've been following him over the years. He loves horses. I believe I'm trying to remember if it was a documentary, it might have been an interview or something. And also, I remember like that's why I put the picture of him getting a lap dance on Hey Queen, because that's what this picture's from. I remember when he was on Hey Queen, he talked about his love for horses and living somewhere where he had his own horse. And and getting the horse ride and things. And I just love that he's still able to continue doing the thing that is his passion. So shout out to you, Brent. I mean, I think he's officially retired from doing adult stuff, but it's good to see when we get to see our icons out here and what they're up to. And I'm glad that you didn't end up like another so many of these other adult cinematographers where we've been sitting there talking about this one passed away and that one passed away, and we having to do another damn obituary episode or segment. So yeah, I'm shout out to you, Sean, Mr. Lockhart, and all that good stuff. I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do y'all guys think of this story? Whatever your thoughts are, Mr. Brent Corrigan, let me know in the comments down below. Do I believe in soulmates? Yes, I do, actually. I believe there could be somebody out there for you, but sometimes that I feel like that light could fizzle out. Thank you. I couldn't remember his name. Garrett Clayton played Brent Corrigan in King Cobra, and James Franco was in that movie too, as was Christian Slater. So they had two at the time, respected names in that game. Well, I think in a way, Christian Slater still might be a bit more, way more respected than James Franco. James Franco's career is kind of like taking a deep nosedive, but he was always an asshole. I remember I told y'all that story. I wrote a big article on him and it blew up because I had somebody send me pictures or whatever and inside tea from a book signing that he did and how he was a nightmare dealing with that. The murder situation was crazy. Those two lived in VB in Virginia, where I'm from, and actively advertised on the old gay website even during the timeline the murder happened. Says sent UT, Gaga is getting desperate to get Grammy lore. They responded to her that Outside died with a smile. The singles underperformed, and so did the album. Mayhem. Yeah, Mayhem is not the. And look, some people saying that Mayhem, oh, well, she intentionally recorded that so it could be performed live. I'm like, no, she didn't. Y'all really think that she sat up in there and was like, "Oh yeah, we have to record all these songs because yeah, they're not going to do well on the charts, but I'm going to be able to perform these songs live." Any musician with some sense, like particularly Madonna, when she's recording a lot of music, it's not just okay. I'm just recording this song just to record it. I'm also thinking about okay, now she has been one to spend a lot of time to perform a lot of the non-album singles on the tour. So how do we make this song work in a way that I can perform it live in front of an audience? And that's playing the newer stuff. So it's like, yeah, Die With a Smile. That song bores me to death. That's like one of my least favorite tracks off that record. She's still trying to force that damn the dead dance down everybody's throat. Cause in between, like one of her I've been seeing the clips online, which because she's touring overseas right now, that she performs, in between certain songs, she'll do the dead dance and start breaking out and doing it. So we'll see if she gets any talk of a Grammy. But I do think that Die With a Smile. But wait a minute, wasn't she nominated for that last year? I just want she won a Grammy for that last year. No, I'm not bugging. Well, not last year, technically this year, February. Because I'm not bugging. I could have sworn that she and what the hell that Queen Bruno Mars got up on stage and she gave a whole spiel. And I think that was before Mayhem came out, right? Or it was Mayhem that had just dropped. I can't remember. But um I do remember I could have sworn I believe she won she already got a Grammy for that song. So um you can't win for it again. Basically, this is supposed to go back to the Fame Monster, but where's the smash hits and the huge well, to be honest, I love the Fame Monster, and I don't feel like a lot of those songs are memorable in that way. Don't get me wrong, there are songs on that record that should have been singles. Garden of Eden should have been a single. Garden of Eden is a bop. Why didn't that song do well? There's so many songs on that album. Child, I can't remember the track list, but hold on, let me look it up. I was like, let me see what's in the Mayhem situation. Now they got they of course now I see in here the Dead Dance Party, which I just heard a whole conversation from Delta Work, and shout out to her. It's funny how Lady Gaga puts out a playlist for Halloween, right? And Delta Work did a whole segment on her podcast talking about where are the Halloween songs. And she ain't talking about like the Monster Mash and stuff like that. And we appreciate certain artists out here who have given us Halloween records, Kim Petras being one of them. But we definitely need more Halloween themed albums, concept records than Christmas. We have too many damn Christmas albums. I need more Halloween ones. But look, what was the song? Abracadabra, of course, that was a good damn song. So that was just obvious hit. Garden of Eden should have been a single. Perfect Celebrity should have been a single. Vanish into You should have been a single. Killer should have been a single. Zombie Boy should have been a damn single. Like, what is going on? Um, Love Drug is cute, but I don't think anybody cares about that song enough. Kill for Love, she performs that on the tour. Blade of Glasses, I don't care about that song. The Beast, whatever. Shadow of a Man, yeah, that's cute, but I don't think that stands out enough. Don't Call Tonight definitely sounds like filler, but it's a cute song. How Bad You Want Me is okay, but like I said, Love Drug would have been a good one. Zombie Boy would have been a good one. Vanish into You should have been a good one to choose. Killer, Perfect Celebrity, and Garden of Eden. So there's like half of the album is good. The rest of it is just like, okay, it feels like filler. So once you get towards the end of the album, but this is why I said, man, you need to get back with Brent one. Where he at? Because Brent one gave you some of your best songs. And that's no shame. His early corn almost got everybody here. So yeah, because he was underage. But child, look, if he would have did that with Austin Wolf, can you imagine that? Also, what would have approved? They said Brent also did an Andrew Christian ad where he was in a farm in the middle of nowhere and some blue Y strings. He's definitely an icon in his work, and at least he didn't become yeah, okay. Like Devin Franco. But speaking of Andrew Christian, I think he just put out his final collection. I saw that happen the other day. Because remember, he's retiring from fashion. Just a coincidence, but I was looking for art supplies and found a book titled How to Make I Do Last Forever. Wish I could give it to Halle and Doodoo garbage. Well, she was a mess getting with that fool. Yes, and they won Best Pop Duo. Thank you. Because I was like, wait a minute, didn't they win? They won a Grammy for that song. So you didn't release those songs on it. Now if y'all decide to do Best Tour, if that wait, isn't that enough? I could have might not be crazy with this, but didn't they just come up with best tour or something for the Grammys? I think they just added one of them, and I believe one of them is best tour. Now that is a real thing, and I'm not just imagining it. If she was nominated in that category, I don't know who else she would be up against, but I would definitely give it to Lady Gaga. This Mayhem Ball, bitch. When I tell you that tour is everything, they definitely put their coins up in that show. The way she comes out in the opera house and all that other stuff, and how energetic and how that mic is on and all that other stuff. I told her I worked all but one because she did 5 shows there. I worked 4 out of the 5. Um, and what else? So I've seen the show from every angle. And then she's supposed to be coming back 3 more times in 2026. She's doing 2 more nights in I think March, and then she's wrapping up the final leg of the tour, like the final night of the tour, I believe, is in Madison Square Garden, which I think is actually smart that she's closing out in New York, where she's from. And I think after that, she can probably take a long ass break because she's like, you know what, I've given y'all enough to last for a while. I don't need to be out here touring and stuff. I want to get married. I want to be able to have kids. I only got like 2 eggs left, so I got to put them to good use and settle down. So I heard that dance in a YouTube ad, and it made realize I never listened to the song in full. I do think best pop vocal album is between her and Sabrina. Did they give it to Sabrina though? Mm. You said they added best tour to the iHeartRadio Awards and gave to Child. Come on, mediocrity. This is who y'all giving that to? Song of the century. Anyway. Anyway, now speaking of people who probably gonna give us the tour of the century when she decided to put out new music. Let's talk about Hilary Duff. So Hilary Duff done told the gays, sound the alarm, cause I'm coming out with new music. And it's specifically for the homosexuals that have supported me throughout my entire, from the Disney era until now. So the former Disney star has confirmed that she's about to release new music and it's explicitly for the homosexuals. Now, after months of teasing that a new record is on the way, Duff, who's 38, recently confirmed that the follow-up to her fifth album, 2015, child, let me tell you, this is one of my favorite albums. 2015's Breathe In, Breathe Out is coming imminently. Now, speaking of Variety, at the Vogue Girl Hollywood event in Los Angeles on October 26th, Duff was informed that her homosexual fans are shit, what is wrong with me today? I told you my brain is off. Are particularly excited about her musical return. Now, in response, the Sparks singer quipped, it's all for them. It's just to impress them. Dub teased that said gay fans can expect to hear new material really soon, as she's been hard at work in the studio with her husband, musician Matthew Coma. Well, what kind of music he do? Yeah, what kind of album? What is this album gonna sound like? That's what I'm curious about. They said I always knew I was gonna return to music. I need to feel safe, and I need to have the right people in my corner and be absolutely 100% ready. She explained of her lengthy break away from the industry. Honestly, I need to have 10 years of my life under my belt. I needed a lot to say. This album feels like the inner workings of my brain, and I am really so excited to connect with people again on that level, that very forward-facing level. Now, though Hilary Duff is best known for her titular role on the Naughty's series Lizzie McGuire, she produced a solid musical output since then. Now, her 2003 single So Yesterday, which I did love that song, and 2005's Wake Up both charted out inside the top 10 of the UK's official music chart, while her debut pop album, 2003's Metamorphosis, topped the US Billboard chart. Now, before her decade long break, Breathe In, Breathe Out spawned three singles in All About You, Chasing the Sun, and Sparks, with the latter routinely going viral on homosexual Twitter for the fact it is an underappreciated anthem. Well, let me tell you something. Breathe In, Breathe Out, that whole album, let me tell you something. That album had gay sprinkled all over it, like the electronic pop elements and stuff on there. It was giving very EDM, very much. Oh, this definitely was made for the gays. And so I could see, like, at her age, with her being in her late 30s, it's like, yeah, she can get like a lot of those younger girls that used to grow up watching her on Lizzie McGuire to listen and support, come out and see her on tour and then introduce the kids, their children, because now they're all mommies and things of that nature. Um, Soccer mom, working mom, all kinds of moms will come up there with their children, and now it's a generational, you know, thing where they'll have those people. So definitely, there, I do believe there's an audience out there for Lizzie McGuire on the comeback. Because I told you, especially if you're in your late 30s, that's the cusp of you're in your nostalgia era. So Lizzie McGuire is like, oh yeah, I grew up on her or whatever, and now we've all moved on and had kids, kind of like what she did. She got married and had children and things, and now she's like, okay, I can release music, I can get out here and perform, and then the moms and we can bring their kids, and then the gays who love Hilary will be up in there, having a good time and performing and watching her perform and dancing along with her. So they said perhaps more famous than her filmography and musical output among the LGBT, or as we like to call it, libidiqua plus community anyway, is Duff's vocal opposition to homophobia. In an anti-homophobia advert released back in 2008, advertisement, but the Brits call it advert, Duff is seen overhearing two girls joking that the clothes they are trying on are totally gay. Oh my God, it's like totally gay. Confronting them, she says, you really shouldn't say that. That's something gay when you mean that it's bad. It's insulting. What if every time something is bad, everyone says, that's so girl, wearing a skirt as a top? The advert ends with Dove asking the viewers at home, when you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Oh, that rhymes. That should be a song lyric. The clip has become a meme within the LGBTQ community, with Duff being facetiously praised. Child, really? And they talk about ending homophobia. Well, tell that to the current administration that we under. Now, in 2022, Duff acknowledged the clip's internet infamy and recreated it to a riotous viral reaction. So look, and I'll say this on this, and then we can just wrap it up now. If the music follows in the same vein as the dance pop that she gave us during the breathe in, breathe out era, then I'm here for the new music because I feel like where else could you go but do the dance pop stuff? I mean, you way too old to be doing kind of like what you was doing back in the early days of Lizzie McGuire. I mean, I'm sure she'll get up there and she'll be singing those songs for nostalgic sake and find new ways to rework those songs to make them sound a little more mature, demure, and mindful. But for the most part, I'll be definitely interested in hearing her new music, and hopefully it's good. And it follows in the vein of what I think a lot of her fans would want. And that would be like, yeah, go more into the breathe in, breathe out era. Cause yeah, those songs were underappreciated, but they were definitely bops. So I say all this to say, when you guys think of this story, are you excited to hear that Hilary Duff, Disney's very own Lizzie McGuire, says that she's coming back with some new music for the gays, or as I like to call the homosexuals. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Mm. First of all, who the hell was interested in seeing a halftime show from a Turning Point? From a bunch of damn rape, like who you getting to perform? And the people you getting to perform, nobody cares. So it's like, look, you got Kid Rock going on Fox News talking about he gonna dress as a R word for Halloween, which I'm like, sir, first of all, you going as yourself because you already look like you on the spectrum. Or not even the spectrum. It looked like you be one of them people that be on the back of the bus with the helmet on, banging to prevent you from banging your head up on the window. Like you definitely give me that. And you got the nerve to sit up here and try to use certain derogatory words to spark controversy or to get people riled up or to go viral. Like Robert is he is a retard. He is an idiot. Desperate for attention because nobody's paying attention. It's two hit one to have an ass. And I wouldn't be surprised if they cancel. Like nobody cares about your stupid like racist people. Like they really think that they just want to keep going with this temporary high of just spreading anger and always being mad about stuff. And it's like, where is that getting you? Nobody cares. You're not that interesting. You're not that important. Yeah, everybody gets riled up for a second. But if you don't have nothing to constantly be mad about, it's like y'all almost don't have any sense of purpose. So who cares? They can cancel all they want. I don't even think they ever plan on putting something together because that requires them having to spend money. And I truly believe that Erica Kirk may have had something to do with her husband getting unalived. I do not think that that was a coincidence that that whole situation went down. My thing with modern Halloween music is that people just want it to be as popular as Christmas music, but don't want to appreciate goth and actual dark music. Y'all have Thriller, Disturbia, and the Fame Monster. And that's why I said, like, you know what? It don't need to be in this whole, like, we have to be on theme and we have to talk about cotton, we have to talk about candy and costumes and things. And it's like, let's make a Halloween based themed like album and it be inspired by Dario Argento and Italian horror movies and slashers or different genres of Halloween. But also if you're going to indulge in what it would sound like sonically, take inspiration from industrial music, take inspiration from like dark pop music. Like take all the different inspirations, throw it in a gumbo, and let's come up with some interesting, sinister, really interesting, like some real cool shit. I don't need to be in a situation where it's like, and I do agree, it's like Thriller, Disturbia, and the Fame Monster. Those are definitely like in the vein of like dark music. And I like what Kim Petras gave us with her Halloween theme record. Wasn't there another artist that did a Halloween themed album? As for Hilary Duff, Dignity is one of the greatest albums of all time. Yeah, I said it. He said Tovlo wrote Sparks and a few other tracks on Breathe and Breathe. She was see because she was working with the Swedes. That's why that was a good record. I didn't even grow up with Lizzie McGuire. The show ended before I was born. How dare you? And you said, unlike Gloria Estefan, who rejected her queer daughter, Hilary has always looked out for the Rainbow Riders. She rejected her queer daughter back in the day, but didn't she come around? She came out of the dark So, to use one of her phrases, you said disturbing. That was a good song. Wait, Born to the Night and Belladonna. Belladonna, wasn't that song done by Slater, not Ava Max? Miss Belladonna, I give it up whenever I wanna. Lipstick is red and so is this Prada. I know that song, but look, Slater been dropping new music lately. I've been living for it. Like her recent single, I was like, bitch, the video was everything. And then you listen to the production, I was like, she is giving. Oh, so he said her too. I do like Slater. And I totally forgot. I was like, wait a minute, when was Slater on tour with Kesha? I think that was part of when she was on the West Coast. Because I do remember that Slater was on the bill to be doing Kesha's tour, but she wasn't billed at Madison Square Garden, which I've been mad about because I would love to have seen Slater. And I've seen Slater at Brooklyn Steel. I hope that she comes back and does a show. That and the fact that I'm mad because Cobra is doing a show in Manhattan, I think, on Halloween, and I can't go because I'm gonna be working Sabrina, and then afterwards I have to go see my friend in Rocky Horror Picture Show. He's doing that at midnight in like over there in the Bowery. So I gotta go see that afterwards. So I am a booked bitch on Halloween, and I don't know how I'm gonna do it because then I gotta work Sabrina again on Saturday. So I'm like, damn, I'm gonna be tired because when you trying to run home and the public transportation, everything at a certain time of night, by the time I get home, I'm like, damn, I probably ain't gonna get a whole lot of sleep. Oh, I thought you were talking about the movie Demons, the Dario Argento Italian horror film Demons. I watched that the other day because it was on Shutter. I was like, let me watch that while I'm making. I was actually making, cooking or whatever. And I was like, let me put that on. So had my iPad on and I went on Shutter and I put that movie on. I love that movie because it's just bonkers. That's the one thing I love about Italian horror films. They make no damn sense when you watch them. But um the gore and everything is just so cool to watch. It's kind of like Suspiria. I love the original Suspiria. Did not like the Luca Guadagnino one, but I love the original one because of all the crazy over the top colors, the reds and the blues and all that other stuff. Which, of course, when you in heart, when film school is like, yes, red means death and all those other, you learn all those things about the tones and the colors and why they choose certain colors for certain sequences and things of that nature. So I love that movie because it's so weird and it's just crazy with the visuals and everything. And the thing with Italian Heart is not meant to make sense. You just go on for the ride. Oh, you said my Doja. You said no shade, but Cobra to Cobra, but Sabrina will probably be more fun. Well, I think is that I like Cobra's music. I haven't seen how she performs live, so I don't even know if she's like a good live performer. But yeah, it probably would be that Sabrina could be more fun. Oh, who child? But anyway, now let's get to our final topic. To my performance. Let's talk about Shea Couleé. So Shea Couleé, who didn't come here to play, she came to slay, is finally breaking her silence in regard to this whole drama surrounding her and the fact that her three drag daughters, she had a falling out with them. And it took me a while to want to get around to this because I was relatively confused as to what the heck was going on in regards to this whole situation. But now that Shay has finally broken her silence, I feel like that I can come out and speak more on it. And if I miss anything in regards to the whole story, what may have been the kickoff, y'all could definitely let me know what the tea is. But I'm just going off of basically what Shea Couleé said and basically what she said and what I took from what she said. So RuPaul's Drag Race All Stars 5 winner, Shea Couleé, has broken her silence on the departure of her three drag daughters, Kenzie Couleé, Bambi Banks Couleé, and Chloe Couleé, who are now respectively named Kenzie the Dragon, Bambi Banks, and Chloe Park. Monet Exchange, who competed with Shea in the All Winners season of RuPaul's Drag Race All Star 7, asked Shea if she wanted to comment on her drag daughter's departure from Maison Couleé. Now, she said, I want to say this on camera. This is what Monet prefaced. What I know of Shea Couleé, we've been friends for at least 5, 6 years now. I know you to be a generous, kind, and supportive person. I've never been your drag daughter. I've never lived in Chicago. But this is my first perspective on how I've seen you interact with our other sisters and how I've seen you be and get on with the world. So, to seeing people come out and saying that you are a narcissist, you're doing all these things, that's just not the Shea Couleé that I know. Now, Shay started by saying this. She said, excuse me, I have to learn to be at peace with the fact that you can have relationships with people, you can spend time with them, create memories, and have a very specific experience with them. And they can be exiting, or, sorry, and they can be existing in a completely different reality than the one that you're in. One thing I do want to clear up and make perfectly clear, they did not drop the name dropped them. For me, it really just got to a point where I felt like the dynamics were not just they weren't positive. They weren't affirming, I didn't feel safe. I didn't feel lovely. And I really, truly, from the bottom of my heart, all I wanted to do was help the girls and be somebody that could be a mentor for them. Now, she also went on to say that she didn't have a drag mother. She didn't have somebody in her corner prior to Drag Race. She was just, pouring into her and helping her be a better version of herself, which a lot of people luckily have been to be a part of a house where they do that. Me personally, like I told y'all yesterday in a previous story, I never had the ability to be a part of a house, even though I hung out with a lot of the ballroom girls and this, that, and the other, but I never was a part of a house. I basically was mentored or taken up under the wing of older gay Black men and other men as well, outside of that, white men, whatever the case was, took me up under the wing and taught me the ways of what it is like to be a homosexual man, especially of color, and trying to survive in New York. So that's how I learned how to survive and being a homosexual in the concrete jungle of New York. I totally understand when somebody was like, you know what, I never had the ability to have somebody take me under their wing, but I wanted to be that mentor for them. And what she was saying was that when they was out here talking about that she was sort of she was seen as a narcissist or whatever the case was. She said that she believes that she gonna say the quiet part out loud, and why she believes that why they dropped her and said all these things. And basically what she was saying is that it had to they what was coming across was that she felt that they were using her because of her access to Drag Race. The fact that she competed on Drag Race twice, didn't win. She was a runner up. Well, no, she wasn't a runner. She actually um lost the first round. Because remember, that child, we don't want to bring it up. That one when she went up against Sasha Velour, that was iconic. And that was something that I know that killed her in that moment. And we've seen how that all played out in future, like in the season. And I think, wasn't it all winners when all that went down? And it was like when she finally won her season of All Stars. So she said that I had a conversation with one of our drag sisters because she was friends with them prior to getting on the show. And she was like, they had painted a very specific picture of you to me. And I was like, oh, really? And she was like, but then I got to know you. You were not what they said. I really do feel that they expected that because they had your name, it would be a fast track to them to get on Drag Race. For context, throughout 17 flagship season Drag Race, Kenzie the drag. Well, we already know that. First of all, Kenzie, Chloe, and Bambi have not been on the show, so we don't. I mean, I guess unless you don't watch RuPaul's Drag Race, you wouldn't know that. But yeah, I ain't never heard them names and all that other good stuff. But so basically, what they were saying is like, yeah, you basically wanted to be my drag daughters because y'all wanted to use my name and the clout as a way to get on Drag Race, which we have seen that play out in the past, that so many of the girls have, because of their association with certain Drag Race girls, that has ushered them away in to getting on RuPaul's Drag Race. That's not necessarily mean that a lot of them working that way. Where it's like, oh, well, because so you're the drag child of this one and that one and whatever or whoever. So yeah, let's just put you in. You don't have to do all the work that was required in the audition process. Like you need to go in. We're just gonna roll out the red carpet and just let you through the door without a ticket. So they said, she went on to say, so when it didn't happen for them, they began to resent me. And I really do think that is true. I auditioned 5 times. It took me a long time. And I would try to give them advice on how I felt that they could improve on their audition process and things like that. But I don't know where we went left to where what I was trying to provide as critique was viewed as criticism. I was just trying to, help a girl out. Like, I've been through this. I want you, to do well. I want you to succeed. And my thing is, if I had Monet Exchange or any or Shea Couleé or any of the drag race girls as a mentor, and I'm trying to get on anything, rather whether it's RuPaul's Drag Race, Dragula, or Miss Continental, if I was trying to get in any of them competitions, and I know that I know somebody who's been through what they, been through the trenches of getting in those type of shows that I have a dream of trying to get on, I'm gonna listen to them. I'm gonna listen and be like, okay, so what did you have to do? And like, give me some pointers. Let me know what I got to do to make my audition tape better. But I noticed with a lot of this new generation, y'all take criticism. Y'all can't take a good damn critique. Y'all be out here thinking that everybody wanna, maybe I gotta kiss your ass. And it's like, no, that's not, the world don't owe you anything. That's not how the world works. Like, if you really about that life, you really want to be a better queen or whatever the case is, if this is something you really want to do and not just jumping in it because you thinking drag race is going to catapult you to the success you only beyond like local bar drag or whatever the case is, like, you really need to put in the work if that's what you want to do, if you want to elevate to that next thing. But what you're not going to do is sit up out here and try to use my name as like your little meal ticket, because it goes to show that, was our relationship really authentic? Like, when I decided to take y'all under my wing to make you my children, and this is me going based off of what Shea is saying in this interview and me analyzing it. If I'm taking you under my wing, I'm expecting like you really want me to come in, because I am at around the age of, you know, Shay is what, probably 40 or in her 40s. So when you've been there, done that water teacher, and you've been around the world and you would think that, okay, now I'm at a point in my life where I want to pass down the knowledge to the next generation. So that way, when I had to actually learn the hard way certain things, because I didn't have that support, I don't want you to have to go through the same things that I had to go through. I want to make your transition into the same space that I went in, that I went through. I want to make that walkthrough a lot easier for you. And that's what you think when you're an elder, that you want to do for the people that you want to pass down the knowledge. Do you really want it? I was thinking of Janet Jackson because of the knowledge. So it's unfortunate when things like this happens. But anyway, let me finish up with all this other stuff. So, and I had to fix a glitch in the matrix because they all did a little misspelling over there on out. So Monet asked, "Is it beyond repair?" Because they didn't say beyond repair. They didn't put beyond. They put another word. So Monet asked, "Is it beyond repair?" She said, "Oh, it is. Yeah. There's no going back." And here's the thing: I wish them well. Like, I really do. I don't bear any ill will towards them. It was really hurtful to see the things that they were saying about me online, to be called a narcissist and a bitch in psychosis. And because I do go to therapy, we process that. We learned I have set them free to go on and be able to forge their own paths. So sometimes, like, okay, well, if you don't need my advice, if you don't need me to come out here and give you whatever it is that you need, then you know what? I set you free. Go out into the world and you figure it out on your own. But it's kind of crazy that, yeah, when you have one person and it's like all three of your children is like, okay, they all have this narrative of you. So I guess at this point it's like their word against, it's Shay's word, her three former daughters' word, and somewhere in the middle is the truth. But if people saying like, yeah, this is not like, how is that this person that they're saying that this is how you are? No one's witnessed this. But then again, there are people that show one side of them to one particular group of people, and it could be completely different in other situations. We've seen that happen before. But I want to take Shay's word on this because she gave her side of the story. And I guess some people was like, well, she has the platform. And it's like, yeah, because She is a girl from a very popular drag queen coming out of Chicago, and she's had that career. So she's of course going to get a platform where she can go beyond social media and really sit down and have an interview with someone from Drag Race who has their own podcast and tell their side of the story. So it's unfortunate, this whole situation, but I just hope that it doesn't deter people like Shea and others like in her position to want to mentor other drag queens who really want the mentorship and is not out here with some sort of agenda. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding the Shea Couleé breaking her silence and spilling tea on what transpired with her, falling out with her three drag daughters? So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Says sidebar, what are your thoughts on the Tyler the Creator mess? He released a deluxe. He really? It didn't say anything about the last week of backlash he's been getting. I was so damn confused in regards of what he was going on about. So apparently, what it is that if I'm not mistaken, he was upset because he gave a tribute to D'Angelo and his fan base. He was upset at them because they had no idea who D'Angelo is, and partially it's your fault. Like I understand, like during the Chromacopia tour, he does do a segment where he goes and gets on another, I think it was a B stage. Yeah, there was a B stage. Because there's like the little how the whole setup. He has like a bridge and all this other stuff. Then he kind of it brings him down to like the B stage. So there's like an A stage and a B stage. Um, the A stage. I'm trying to remember what the like how to describe the design of it. I'm sure y'all probably seen the pictures or whatever. But anyway, he comes to the B stage and then he has this whole segment where he's like taking off his shoes. Then he's going through his album collection. He's bringing out all these prominent black musicians, which of course you hear like applause and stuff from the audience. When I worked his tour, he definitely has a lot of white people that come to his shows. So he definitely has that fan base on lock. So I totally understand why it's just like, yeah, you trying to be out here, all of a sudden you black, when back in the day, you was out here talking very disrespectful stuff about black women and saying a lot of things that would come across as racist because you were trying to toe that line. So that way, yeah, you dark skinned, but and you making black music, but then it's like you in a way were trying to appease your white fans. So you played up and trying to toe that line of being very dismissive in regards of racist stuff, giving white people permission to also be racist. And now when this whole D'Angelo situation comes up, now all of a sudden you want everybody to feel a certain type of way because you matured and grown the hell up. And now you surprised that your fans perpetuate this very thing that you allowed. And so then all of a sudden these old tweets started coming up and he started getting all his backlash, but you've been trying to pretend like you've been ignoring it. And what's weird is like, why you release a deluxe edition of a previous album? You release a new album. Like that don't make no sense. You released a whole new album, but you release a deluxe album of an album that you're still touring on, which is quite bizarre. But my overall thoughts on it is just like, I like Tyler Creator's music. He's a great live performer, but at times it's like he could be so damn immature and all skinfolk and kinfolk, and then getting all mad about the fact that people was mocking him over the fact that he's specifically only singles out wanting to date white boys and all this other stuff. This I just can't like I just get so exhausted trying to sit up here dealing with these tap dancing ass coons in this industry. What I'm hearing is that these are some fame hungry drag queens that latched themselves onto a winner of the show and lashed out on Shea after she chopped no more drag race. Yeah. That's what I was thinking. I was like, you know what? That's what I got from it. And I totally believe Shea. I was trying to play devil's advocate in the end. But for the most part, I definitely feel like that's what that is. That a lot of these girls, it's like, it now feels like it's what is your intention? Because do you want me to actually mentor you, or is it that you thought, oh well, let me just latch on to Shea Couleé and then it'll be a fast track for me to get on Drag Race. But I'm like, no, that's not how that works. I'm not gonna make phone calls and tell producers to get you on a TV show. You need to do it the way that I did it. Now, if you're going to set up, if you're really serious about auditioning, I'm gonna tell you all the things that you need to do, give you some advice, and show you how to make your tape better. And if you're gonna get an attitude over it, oh well, bitch, then figure it out yourself. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. And it definitely gives that. Yeah, y'all were pretty much just using Shea for her fame and access. The deluxe edition only has chill, not one song. Today is also the 1 year anniversary of Chmerkovskiy. I never listened to the album, but I used to be a big fan of his. I can also confess that I like. mm, Um, I think I did listen to the whole album, but it's a good show though. It's a good tour. Joe Carey recently released a 13-track deluxe edition for his album he put out earlier this year. Said it felt too connected to the last album to make it a whole new album. It was probably like leftover tracks that he just worked on. So that's probably what that is. It probably was just like, oh yeah, we got these leftover songs. Let's just work on them some more. Let's just put it out so that way the fans can have more of that. And there's more music for you to perform when you out there live and stuff. All right, y'all. So now it looks like we are at the end of today's show. I want to thank you all for tuning in to the latest episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. If you have not already, please hit that like button, smash the notification bell, hit that subscribe, all that good stuff, so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of the show. I'll be back on Thursday. I won't be back on tomorrow because tomorrow I'm going to be me and Sabrina are going to be getting acquainted. So I'm gonna be working on her show. So I won't be on tomorrow, but I'll be back on Thursday with a brand new show. And then after that, after Thursday, I'm gonna be out of commission until next week because it's gonna be pretty busy. November is gonna be crazy. So yeah. If well, I was gonna say have a happy Halloween. We'll be back on Thursday so I can wish all that then. But for now, love you all for watching. Thank you all for your continued support during the live chat and the rewatch gang and all that good stuff. All of you who dropped comments and the thing, hit the like button, all that good stuff, showing your support, the help with the algorithm, and we're building this small little channel into something a little more iconic. So yeah, thank you all for watching. Thank you for your continued support, and until next time, ciao, darlings.